Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to another episode of Roses Are Red podcast with your host, Mrs. Red Rose, her co-host, Sam I Am from the Married Couple Podcast, and AC from Midnight Media.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. Just a quick disclaimer. These are our opinions and our things we've gone off of YouTube or TikTok or anything. Please do your own research on anything we talk about. Go back and look into it. And if you have any thoughts, why do I feel like I'm in church?
I feel like we have an ASL.
I'm doing the Motown to it. So like if you
Tony Flex,
do your own,
yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Don't take our word for it.
Yes, don't take our word for it. Please do your own research. And if you have any questions or comments, please type it in. Let us know what you're thinking, or if you have any questions, let us know. You could also leave a recorded message on Instagram on Roses Are Red podcast, and we'll go ahead and play it live here. And welcome in, everybody. Welcome, Tiff. Welcome, AC, and welcome, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you. I noticed that we had someone introduce us today, like a new addition.
Yeah, we have a new addition. We have Mr. Rose that introduced us in, and hopefully one of these days he'll pop in and hang out with us one day.
Fully grown Groot.
Fully grown Groot, yes.
Fully grown Groot. I like the way he said Midnight Media. I'm a little aroused at the moment.
You got the man crush there.
The Midnight Media. I'm like, wow.
I do love his voice. Yes.
Well, you can have enough of him when we're out there in Vegas.
We should do some kind of a collaboration.
I'm so jealous about that, by the way.
Yeah. Where he does something. We just had like a verbal argument, but like at this tone, like that's not what I said. Like horrible. Like, how dare you? How dare you? My honesty, sir. My pride. You know?
Oh my goodness! I can't wait. I can't wait to actually finally meet him all, you guys. You know,
yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been 3 years since we've known each other. So
yeah, it's about time we get together, especially the spouses, so we can, prove to them that we're not having an affair online.
Yeah. Right.
I've had to explain things. It's like, it's 5 a.m. Why are you talking to 3 girls? I can explain this.
My husband always goes, "Oh, you're talking to AC. Okay, you're good."
He's non-threatening.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Good. He's good.
Oh,
I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I hope everybody had a wonderful week, a wonderful Easter. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter, everyone. If you don't, I hope you drank a lot and had fun.
I hailed Satan like 40 times that day. I was like, I walked into my my brother's, like, there's children and Easter like in full effect, Christians, all types of people, and I was like, happy zombie day, the only day where we actually believe a zombie came back and they're real. And that was 2,000 years ago, but we believe it today.
It's okay. I still believe in the Easter bunny that drops off, little eggs with alcohol in it. I'm still
but there's no book. There's no book about the Easter bunny moving a rock and getting out and going, oh, I was so sleepy for 3 days, but I'm back.
I went to hell and back, literally.
I'm on a highway to hell.
Hey, I had to do that whole reenactment. We had to walk that whole reenactment on Friday for Good Friday. And we had to walk. It was like over a mile walking stop to stop. So yeah, and try to explain that to a 5-year-old why they were doing what they were doing. Yeah, it's hard.
Keep up. We're doing this for Jesus.
Good Friday when I was a kid scared the shit out of me because, in church they'd bring the lights down and the pastor would slam the Bible down because, it was because of him dying on the cross and whatever. Yeah, it was like fire and brimstone. Like I was like, I don't know if I like this. I also used to have nightmares.
And I say unto thee.
Yeah.
Oh no. Our Good Friday, they reenact the whole thing with whips, and he's got to carry the cross the whole mile and the
reenact
wood.
What? Magic Mike? What are they reenacting?
The Passion of Christ.
The Passion of Christ.
The whole Passion? Because that shit was passionate. The movie was mad passionate.
You remember that show, or it was like a mini series, I think, on ABC back in the day, Jesus of Nazareth or whatever.
Absolutely.
I watched that as a child. My parent,
Fascinated.
it's Christian, we should watch it. I was too young to watch this.
It's a snuff
And I
film.
used to have horrible nightmares that I was like
Yeah.
up on the cross with Jesus. And
Yeah.
every Easter I'd have a recurring nightmare. It was
And
bad.
I had that same dream, and I would look over at Jesus and I'd be like, how are you not slipping off? We're nailed to our hands.
I know.
Like
our
this
weight
is a
should
lot-
not hold us.
This is a lot of weight for just this joint,
Right?
The
That's a
stigmata.
lot. That's
I mean, it's a thing though. I mean, they put people around crosses all the time. A lot of times upside down.
Oh yeah.
really.
Back
yeah.
then. Yeah,
That's
that was the main form of execution back then.
If they hated you. Remember we did that show about Vlad the Impaler, one of the better
Yes.
Shotgun Candy
Yep.
episodes. And they used for fields, like they used to take the dead and they used to like prop them up in a Jesus Christ post, but like as far as the eye could see.
I actually listened to that episode running a 10K.
Damn.
And I had it, and my headphones quit working, so I had it like audibly going, and people were looking at me like, "What the fuck are you listening to?"
She was,
I'm like, "These are my friends. Fuck
Yeah.
off."
Shit was too fire. It broke my headphones. It was way too fire.
Yeah, it made the run go well.
But imagine, yeah, it's like, would you enter, would you try to invade the enemy if like you first encountered a sea of like your brethren like on crosses? I'd be like,
Displayed for everyone to see.
yeah, just skin flayed from
Yep.
the bone. I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna come back later.
I'd be like, "You're not paying me enough for this."
Yeah. Wait, you're not paying me at all.
Oh wait, okay, never mind. Out.
Well, we've got a couple of updates. We've got one on Gypsy Rose today. Gypsy Rose.
I feel like Gypsy Rose is the gift that keeps on giving. You know what I mean?
She's like a piñata.
Every week there's something new.
She's like a Munchausen by proxy piñata that
Yeah.
continues to pay out. Yeah. And
She
so
has now moved on.
from who? From the fat guy from Louisiana?
The husband?
Yep. From the husband. So
From
she
the Kool-Aid
now-
Man? Oh yeah. He's big and red, so I just remind me of the Kool-Aid Man.
I cannot. Now I can't even look at him because now I'm going
Yeah.
to think of a
I
Kool-Aid
just
man.
seem like through a
Look at his
wall.
face. It looks like he's doing blue steel. Look at his face. He looks like he's like,
Jeez.
smile without your eyes. That's your model face.
You have to smize.
Yeah.
But I
Slay,
must say,
bitch.
she does look cuter with the guy to the right. I mean, I
She
must
looks
say.
the cutest when she's showing her mouth missing a huge hole of
Closed.
teeth. Yeah. It looks like her tongue's in
Sometimes I
jail.
look better on paper than in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. If they drew her for me, I would feel better about this situation. But
Right.
it's
Yeah.
her eyes are too. She looks like she was abused and then put back together.
I mean, which maybe.
Yeah, she looks like that. What is it? The Megan doll? What's that movie, Megan or something? You know what I mean? Where
Ish.
She looks like if they made a doll out of like a coal miner's daughter.
oh my god.
Her
You know what I
eyes were
mean?
a little
Like,
offset too,
mhm.
like inbreeding a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. There was a couple cousins in there. Those are cousin eyes.
So she's left her husband because she says that he was too jealous of her hanging out with her family
Too fat.
and
Fat.
and what you got against fat people, you see?
Nothing. I resemble that remark. What I'm saying to him, I'm worried about people being fucking fat phobic. She's a bitch. She's fat phobic. You know, what about you, bitch? You were sick all the time. I'm sick phobic, ho.
So she because of that and they'd argue too much for her. So, she's taking time for herself. But as she's taking time for herself, her good friend now that was her ex-fiance when she was in prison is
The guy that he was worried about, because remember at the end of the documentary, he was like, just tell me you ain't talking to your ex. And she's like, nah, maybe a little.
yeah, just a little, but now it's a little bit more because now
Yeah.
they've been hanging out. They've been doing a lot of things together. They were on TikTok Live recently in a hotel room talking about
Do-
her not getting pregnant, and they were just friends, but they're not sleeping together. They're
do you think
just really
do you
good
think
friends.
they smushed? In your heart, do you think they smushed?
Oh, for sure, 100%.
They smushed their guts together? Oh, God damn. I love you, Gypsy.
Yeah, I think they've smushed a little, but that's
She's a
the new
slut, huh?
update.
She's a slut, right? Like she gets peed on for sure, right? Like She needs to She needs to feel love and validation
okay,
from men.
she was so suppressed for so long. I
And now
want
she
her to just go out there and go
Right.
fucking crazy.
Swallow it
Don't
all.
fucking tie yourself down with somebody and say,
Or
"We got
tie
this
yourself down.
label."
Maybe tie
Or,
yourself down.
I mean, if
No, you know
that's
what
what
I
gets you
think?
off, tie yourself down.
Tie me down and pee on me, daddy. Yeah.
However, don't, put yourself with one person. If you wanna
Right.
go do it, fucking go let your freak flag fly,
That was
but
her stepmom's
Black
thing was
flag.
that just that. Her stepmom was like, "Why don't you just go out and like fuck like 80 guys, and then decide it."
yeah,
She's
just
just
decide. I mean,
what's that?
You know
yeah,
what I think? I think
take
she
some test
only
drives.
reason I think the only reason why she picked him, and this is what I think. I think because
Which one?
one, her husband,
Okay.
she picked him because one, she needed a place to stay.
Mhm.
She needed to have
She
a stable home.
needed. So it's
She
about her.
Yeah, I think this was all her needs and her what was gonna help her out to get to where she needed to be. I
She's
think
reverse
that
legion.
well, she had money. She had money, and she needed somebody that she could
Use.
manipulate
Right.
and use
How
to
about this
her
fat guy?
advantage.
How about fucking real life Peter
And
Griffin?
honestly, to him, she's a fucking catch. He's like,
Hell yeah. She's only missing 4 teeth. To him,
Yeah.
she's fucking
Right.
she's fucking she is Kim
But now
Cattrall.
and she's got the
here's the
front
question.
ones.
Here's the question that's gonna come up after all this when they're going through a divorce. Was
Mhm.
there a prenup? Was
There
there
better have been.
something signed before she got because
What
remember
does she
she
what
made
does she have though?
How long
Like
was
I'll
she
see.
married
But have they
for?
been married? They've not been married really long enough for him
3
to take
months.
anything.
I
Okay,
want
3
your
months is
Come on, I
not
want your chicken
just
sandwich.
cause for.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, there's no children. They could probably get an annulment.
Yeah.
But remember, she
Like it
didn't
never
get
happened.
famed. She didn't get her famed until she got out. So he was in the picture when she made her fame.
Yeah,
You know,
but he
Rose,
didn't give
so
it to her.
Rose between Peter Griffin and fucking I don't know, young Scott Baio over here. Who would you take?
young Scott Baio, Peter Griffin. wait. Okay, hold on.
The new guy.
I want to
or
know
the new old guy.
who's got the fatter wallet. Let's just go there. Who's got the fatter wallet? Because that's I think that's
leave it
Gypsy
to
Rose's
Rose to make
mentality.
it all about money and transactional, man. Oh my
I
God.
think that's what I think Gypsy Rose was all. I think it was who was going to take care of her for the first
gonna-
month out of prison.
Yeah, who's gonna buy me a Gucci bag?
I mean, she didn't get Gucci, but she got the view. She got all these interviews. Remember, she got. I mean, she got over 1 million views on Instagram, right? Like quickly within a heartbeat. TikTok, everything until she started opening her mouth and saying things
She was
about the ex that
she was slain.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look.
That's the ex there before she met Peter Griffin.
Why does that look photoshopped?
Well, and here's the other question. I thought
He's
that
AI
when
for
you
sure.
visited your significant other in prison,
Uh-huh.
you had to be married to have conjugal.
Conjugal. It doesn't mean they
Conjugal.
couldn't touch. I
But they
don't know.
had they had conjugal in
That's what I tell
prison.
my wife. I'm like, you want to do conjugal tonight?
Do you want to do the naughty?
Come visit me in prison, Daddy. Come visit me in prison.
Let's role play.
Hell yeah. You have to bring me a bottle of Xanax, and I'm going to give you money for rent. And
in the bottle in the brown outfit. You're gonna take that brown outfit.
And someone's gonna get R-worded. It's a surprise who.
Yes, right.
I mean, that's what I thought. I thought they couldn't, but they did.
So
maybe there's
they did
exceptions
conjugals.
now.
Man,
They were engaged though, correct?
They were engaged when she was in prison. Yes,
they should fucking. They should allow like if you want to do like a gang thing or like maybe like a group thing. They should do like group conjugals.
They could be polyamorous, or they could be like, "Oh, we're polyamorous. We're all engaged."
Yeah. No, I want to fuck him too. I'm engaged to him too, and then I'm engaged to her.
Just
we're all living together.
You got some nice titties. I'm engaged to you now. You know.
I mean, that's what I thought. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's not. You know.
Maybe they lied and said that they were married. I don't know.
Bro, she's not having sex in jail, bro. She's not doing that.
I don't. But she says they did. He would stay there for the weekend.
She was 11 years old in her mind. She killed her mom, and then she went directly to jail. At what point did she become a woman? You know.
This is why I always say,
well,
was she really
screw the guy that killed her mom?
At least, if I'm going to kill your mom,
Yeah.
you better at least give up the nanny for
I'm
sure.
sure they did. So yeah,
That's the pact. That's the pact.
and
That's
she
the
sent
payment.
him like sexy pictures and shit. So
Mhm.
She had a
Yeah.
And she
camera in
wasn't
jail.
all. I mean, she would get her rocks off on the camera with him in that documentary. She even says, you know,
Oh, she would Jill off.
mhm.
yeah, she would wear lingeries for him, and
Oh man. Well, how does she have lingerie in jail, dude? Like, tell me that. How are you doing
And
that?
that was before jail.
before jail.
That was when she
Okay.
was manipulating the boy to kill the
Jamie.
mom.
So
After that, she got really
we
creative
sentenced
with
you.
toilet
Yeah,
paper.
10 years in 10 years of jail. You can only take 5 lingeries and 4 TVs and all of your subscriptions, and then we'll forward you your mail. Like, what the like? That's not jail.
So
You know.
that was this is
Let's read.
this is
Let's
gonna be
read
an
a little bit
interesting
here.
story.
So we did commentary first we reacted first without knowing.
Yeah.
Typical us. Gypsy Rose Blanchard isn't hooking up with her fiance Ken Urker, despite getting matching tattoos with him. What?
Oh yeah,
But
that's
he
right.
does not have her best interest at heart, much more so than her husband. So says Ken's mom anyway. Raina Williams tells TMZ that Ken recently flew from his home in Texas to go hang out with Gypsy in Louisiana, where she had to go back after jail because of the guy, right? Because of yeah. And ongoing separation with Ryan Anderson. And the reason, we're told, is because he wanted to be there for support and serve as a rock for okay. Yeah, I want to be your rock, baby. Against the fat man. Look at this guy.
He is very
We're gonna last.
Peter
We're gonna
Griffin.
last
Oh my
more than 3 months.
God. She
with
looks
that
like
scene-
the girl side of Peter Griffin. He looks like the guy side of Peter Griffin.
Yeah, he looks like
Meg.
he looks like Glenn Quagmire.
Now, I kind of feel so. I
Double
don't
giggity.
really feel bad for him because obviously he knew what he
For
was
who?
getting into, right?
For who?
For the guy.
No, he thought he was gonna fix Gypsy. That's not fair.
But I kind of feel that he was played in his heart. Probably, maybe he did really fall in love with her.
The point right where she realized that she could do whatever he wanted was when he confronted her about like, are you cheating on me? And then he goes, just please don't leave me. Just tell me, okay, I'll just wait. You know, even if you do cheat on me, I'll wait for like, are you bro? Right there, done.
Right. He lost it.
You lost it, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck my ex and talk to you know whatever. Like that's the opening. You can't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Too much info. So with that being said, she's not romantic at the moment. She insists that something people first reported, and goes on to say Gypsy needs to close the book on Ryan before Ken can even consider getting back into the picture with her boyfriend. As she puts it to us, Gypsy needs to get a divorce from Ryan first.
Now I think Ken is there for money purposes. I think.
No, he's like there to be like, oh, I know. He's so fat, baby, you know, and then you're gonna go right back.
The grass is always greener. Come to me. I'll save you from your horrible husband.
Remember how crazy we were? You know, let's get back together.
Yeah, they got matching tattoos, and
that's normal. Ken is a good man, Raina says, and he cares deeply for Gypsy as to whether this is will lead to anything official. Time will tell, but so far it looks promising to go back.
And that's his mom saying that.
She was right, though. She was right. Like, I'm sorry, like Ryan was right. He's like, you still have feelings for him. She's like, no, baby, I'm in prison.
She's like, yeah, I do.
I only love your fat ass rolls.
You'll stay with me forever, no matter what I do. I'll be my mom to you.
Well, think about it. You know, her husband that she had a house, had somewhere where she could go to right after, right?
Why is it so? Is there no love in the world? Why is everything because you have a house? I love you because you got a car. I love you because you can put me through. Like, come on. Is there any love?
And that is my beautiful daughter there.
Oh, we drinking.
Hey.
Oh, party people.
Well, we have not done our on-air shot yet.
Funny you should mention that, Miss Craig.
And by the way, happy birthday to my granddaughter today. It was her birthday. She turned 2.
Oh, I got this. I got this. I'm never ready.
Yay. Happy birthday, little.
To 1,000 more name days.
Yes.
We shall throw you a grand tourney on your name day.
Shots. She knows me so well.
Everybody.
You know, my kid loves it when. So my daughter would always tell her, she would always say, "Hey, mom, can you drink some more? Because she knows that every time I kind of drink a little bit more, then I get a little happy, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
everything's on me. Shots are
Give
on
me 25. Give me $25, Mom. Okay.
Sure, no problem. Yeah,
We're
sure, no
good.
problem. Whatever. Mom, can I go to? Yeah, you can go to your friend's house. No problem. Mom, can I buy the? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Get on
Mom,
the
can you
phone.
co-sign this Lamborghini? Sure.
Sure.
Everybody's happy. I want everybody to be on my same level when I'm happy. I don't want anybody. So yeah. I've
You just
gotten too many
explain how
trouble.
drunk people work. Let's let's manipulate the drunk.
Shots, everyone.
Shots.
Here we
Shots.
go.
All right.
Shots.
To drinking till we can't feel feelings.
I mean, that is why we drink, correct?
As in the words of Homer Simpson, alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Yes.
Oh my
I said,
god.
"Shot, get her drunk so I can get $100. That's what I'm trying to. I've been trying to tell her to send you $100. I said, have you sent Selena the money? She needs $100. He was like, I'm never sending money. She got a husband. I was like, oh, damn, it doesn't have to be like that.
I always sound like you got a husband now. You
got a
moved out of here.
Yeah. Y'all live in Seattle, whatever.
So we have part 2 of this wonderful story, and I had to go back and re-listen to everything and actually take time to listen to Legend side. So
Legion.
Legion.
He's far from a legend in his own mind.
Yeah, Legions.
I mean,
His name is Jerome McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Jerome McCoy. So
Jerome McCoy.
So Tiff, let it. You know what? I'm gonna have you go ahead and explain for part 2.
She knows more than all of us, and
yes, because she's been following this since it actually started.
Yeah, in February, when it was like just after she finished releasing them all, was when I sort of clued onto it.
I was gonna ask, did you because some people had to wait, and she was like, "You guys have to wait. I'm not gonna film anything else tonight. Like it's got to be arduous."
But that would have been fun to watch.
She dropped the whole season at once. She Netflixed it.
Well, people went up in the comments and did their things and their little investigating, and that's where it got really interesting. So yeah.
The internet's undefeated. The internet's always going to be undefeated, and there are real researchers. Yeah. So take it away.
So I guess we sort of covered I know it's difficult because we got so excited last time we were talking into it, but we started the story back in March of 2020, right? Was that right? 2020.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before Corona, back in a different time, if we all remember the pre-Corona times.
Oh man, everything was the grass was greener.
It seems like so long ago, but not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've been like 3 different people since then.
Remember going somewhere like traveling somewhere for the first time after that? You're like, the world, right? It's like, oh my God.
It's still here.
I would say that, but it wasn't really shut down for us here.
No,
in California.
Really, no.
Oh yeah, it's rich people. Rich people don't feel none.
We were still partying. Yeah,
I'm in my mansion.
Partying. I mean, the cops were partying with us. Like,
right.
I remember having parties, and my neighbor having parties, and the cop would stop by and get themselves a taco de birria or whatever. Like it was like nothing for us. Like even downtown, when you went to downtown, what they did, the restaurants opened it. So this is what happened.
Oh my God! Tiffy started talking. We took it from her.
Sorry, Tiff. Real quick. What happened was that the strip joint figured out to stay open without closing down. And then the restaurants figured out that loophole and nothing shut down. Everything was open.
They would put the mask on top of their vaginas.
It was everything outside. Everything was outside. Everything, like they figured everything to put outside. The strip joint actually opened up into the parking lot and they shut everything down, stores. So yeah.
I even saw some of the comedy clubs were having people perform on their rooftops or in the garage. You know what I mean? And in LA and things like that. So crazy. I know. Seems like eons ago, but not that long ago. So we digress. Tiffy, take it away.
Yeah. And we're welcome to us. Hey, you know what?
You're supposed to shut up.
Shut the fuck up. And then.
All right. So Risa Tisa started her story. She's I guess we should say she's from Atlanta, and at the time she was working with the Georgia State Patrol, and she was looking for love. She's up on the internet, she's on the apps, she's met this guy on the internet where they've met twice, and they've hit it off, and they're talking online, and they've had their date. their first date. She's had these symbols from God on the way to this first date. Her tire's blown out. And no, she didn't listen. She followed through and she went and met the guy. And not only that, but she went and said that she was basically head over heels after that first date. She went away thinking,
Lord Jesus, this is the one, baby.
Yes, exactly. So I guess we'll start into lockdown. Lockdown happens, and so they have been talking for a few weeks or whatever at this stage, and they decide that they don't want to lock down alone, and so they move forward very fast in this relationship, and they decide to live together for lockdown. And I guess that's where well, I guess the lies didn't really start there, because he told her a whole crazy web of lies in regards to his story.
She had no idea. She had no idea, because he set the picture. It was like, okay, that's plausible, and then you realize that.
Right. So yeah, in the beginning they meet.
Cheesecake Factory, right?
He has. Yes, and because that's a big thing in Atlanta.
I love that place too. I love that.
I mean, there's so much shit on the menu, though. But it's actually
been there once.
The cheesecake is amazing, but
oh yes, it is.
But going forward, I mean, with this, he's already told her he used to go to San Diego State. He was a football player. He was in he played arena football and made quite a bit of money.
Lived in San Diego
for many years. His ex-wife and he had a home in San Diego. This is everything he's told her first date at the Cheesecake Factory.
Met her, was with her, and then also left her, divorced her in
San Diego. Yes, that's
allegedly.
Key. Yeah, that's key going forward, which she also mentions in her videos. What else?
Allegedly.
That he'd moved there for a job promotion, and he was working with a condiment company of some kind, and they were helping him to get set up in the new area. But he came back because he had family there still or something.
Yes, and one of the things that he said at that point, since he had just moved back, he was in a studio apartment, and that's why they decided to quarantine in her condo.
Right. So, it only makes sense. He makes a ton of money, according to him, and she's in the 3 bedrooms. He's like, you know what? Come on over. And then he ends up paying the bills, right? And it's like,
he paid all her car, or not her car note. He paid the rent. He paid, everything. Only thing she continued to pay on her own was her cell phone bill and her car note and her insurance, which
her nails did and her hair did. And
I mean, honestly, it in a new relationship, being taken care of, especially if you've been doing it on your own, is a little intoxicating. You're like, oh, this is really cool. This has never happened.
Remember, she did not want to be alone in COVID. That was her biggest thing. She's like, I don't want to be in quarantine by myself.
She was
even before COVID, she was looking for love, like actively.
She wanted
to get married.
She wanted wet macaroni
biggest goal.
Wet macaroni. Yep.
Now, for all our listeners, please go back, listen to her story, because you've got to listen to her story, and you have to listen to his story to kind of.
There's no story.
Dude, I listened to that whole 2 hours and 39 minutes of him rebutting on that whatever podcast he did.
Who's Eric? My ex-wife.
He talked himself in circles, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
keep going with
get there.
The Risa Tisa. Yeah. Keep going.
Junebug. You know Junebug.
Keep going, Tiff.
Sorry.
We're adding color. We're just adding color.
His rebuttal was fun too, because he had a different TikTok account at the time, and he was posting a whole bunch of videos on his TikTok account, which were fun to watch. But he's deleted the whole account now. So.
Hey guys, the relationship coach here. Just remember, everything out of your mouth is a lie, and everything will work out.
So moving forward, they've moved into this place together, and he's said, I've still got to be looking for a house. The company's helping me with a realtor. They've set me up with a realtor. He's showing her emails and stuff like from a lady from work saying, I'm sorry this wasn't organized sooner. He's showing her pre-approval letters for mortgages of houses and stuff like
that. Chase Bank, was our American, our blue bank in America. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so they've tried to decide whether they're going to, look for a house together, or whether they're sort of going to just look for a house for him. And they've, for some reason, after a few weeks, decided to look for a house together, which I always thought was a bit like
red flag. That's like
I would believe that because you know what? If you're taking care of my bills, you're taking care of the rent, you're taking care of everything. All I have to do is work to pay, my car insurance and my car payment.
yeah, your cell
I
phone,
would
your
be
nails
like,
and shit. You're like, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
Well,
you know
one
what I
of the
mean?
things that surprised me is how long it took them to marry after they moved in. Because of the way, it started. I'm like, hold
I
on,
think
are we not married yet? Are we
I
not
think the
married
I
yet?
think
What's
the I
going
think
on?
I think
What's
the
taking
She
so long?
almost didn't tell us that too, did she?
I
She tried
know.
to keep that from us, but
the
Yeah.
miscarriage fucked up the wedding, right? Like the miscarriage kind of derailed like the happiness factor.
I don't
Yeah.
think were they engaged when
They were
she
they were engaged.
Yes, they were engaged.
They weren't
Well,
married.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I wouldn't have married after the
no,
miscarriage.
she
After the
was
miscarriage, I'd be
pregnant
like,
when he proposed, actually. So
Oh,
I
she was
went back because she put that into like a backstory. Like she didn't put
Oh,
that in.
I'm
okay.
living in sin.
So
I'm
they
living
they
yeah, 'cause
picked a
wetless.
ring. They picked a ring together at some stage, and he said he'd give it to her when he was ready.
when he
Right.
And
was
then
ready, right?
she didn't tell us exactly when it was, but she said it was summer, and she had the D&C in the first week of July, so it had
So
to
it hadn't
be
been
like
after the
What kind of
miscarriage.
ring was it?
Yeah.
Was it like
And
a
and they weren't
Cracker
really
Jack?
engaged either because he really didn't even propose to her. He
all
just
What a
said
before.
piece of
you're
a
gonna
guy,
be my.
bro.
He just said you're gonna be my girl, right?
You're my
Like
girl now, bitch.
Literally just gave it to her when he was ready.
yeah, and he said
Here.
he didn't even propose. He just said you're gonna be my girl, like
You're
something like
mine
that. Like
now. You're mine. Your
Could you
soul is
imagine?
mine.
I've had worse proposals.
okay,
Damn.
okay, knowing now, would all three of you, if someone just said you're gonna be my man or you're gonna be my girl, you're just gonna be my chick, would
I
you
get to be
guys take that
I get to be owned
proposal?
by someone?
I can tell you
Clarify.
my ex-husband looked at me and goes, so we should get married, right? And I was like, I guess.
I don't know.
And that wasn't me even saying, I was like, are you asking me to marry you? He goes, yeah, I think I just did. I was like,
What if I did?
maybe I don't know. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It was
Talk
just
about
like that. We should get
backing
married,
into
right?
like backing into a marriage. Like, I don't know, maybe.
Do you want to tell
Well,
you what my
no, I actually was
proposal?
like, yeah, we should because there was so many circumstances back then. But yeah, it was just kind of like that. Like you're gonna be, not exactly that brazen, but yeah,
I own you
like I
now
said,
because
That's
of this
exactly how I
here.
got my partner, not the engagement, but when we were like, seeing each other, we were talking
Mhm.
to this police officer one afternoon and he called me his girlfriend. And after that, I was like, well, the police think I'm your girlfriend. So I guess I'm your
Yeah.
girlfriend.
I went up to my wife and I was like,
Right.
one day I was like, look, don't stop fucking other people. I don't know if you've been fucking other people since we've been together, but stop. Because now,
But
from
no.
now on, you're my girlfriend. You're
I
my
told
girl.
Dave, I said, I looked at him, I said, I don't share. He goes, are you? I said, I don't want you with, I said, if we're going to be together, I want you with nobody else. And he goes, did you just ask me out? I'm like, yeah, I did.
I'm telling you, I don't want to get the clap. I don't want to get herpes of the clap is what I'm telling you. So
Nope, I don't want to share.
Well, for me, my husband, I was laying on I was so sick. I was so sick. My husband comes in, he's like,
sick of
doing
being
all this, I'm
single.
like, well, I was really sick, and I was like, oh my god.
Sorry, this is hilarious.
I love you.
I got married for TRICARE.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
That shit's the best insurance in the
Mommy,
country.
I got
Gotta
married
love
for
my
papeles.
kid.
I got married for papeles, mommy.
Gotta love my kid.
Yeah.
And and I'm telling him, like, move out of the way, like shut up, like move out of the way, because okay, Selena, I love you, but I have to tell the story.
Oh no.
She ran to the bathroom. Like, I gotta go check on her. And my husband goes, shut up, woman. I'm trying to fucking propose to you. And I'm looking over, and my she's going to the bathroom, and he's down on one knee, and I'm over here.
How is she?
so
Wait, she going to the bathroom? Number 1, number 2, or number 3?
I don't know. This was like 1:00 in the morning. I
Okay.
don't know.
She was
Don't
up
look over
late.
here. This is a private moment.
She got up. Well, she got up from being asleep. She
in
got
the
up and
bed. I
ran.
know, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
but I was like so sick. I was sick with a cold, and I'm telling him like I need medicine. I did, and he's like, just shut up.
Girl, what you need is this motherfucking ring. What you need to get wiped up. Feel better immediately.
Gotta love my kid.
Hey, that's what it is. It's everybody poops. That's what I've heard.
That's a great book.
Yeah.
It is. It's a great book.
And it's true. So sorry, Tiffy, go
from
for it.
here, sorry.
Okay, keep going.
Oh,
Tangents.
that's my bad.
Yes, your cue.
My kids. So they started. They're in contact with a real estate agent, and they're looking at houses. I guess is that where we are?
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
wow, she must be so happy.
So straight away, yeah, they're beautiful. Wouldn't you? Like they're you and
Well, I'll do the. Hey guys, keep up the great show. You guys are awesome. Tiffy's his favorite. Wow. I'm just a fan though because Sam I am doesn't share.
Which means he's listening.
She said
He's
she
not
don't
just
share
commenting stupid shit.
she don't share with women is what she said.
That's true. AC, you're good.
I just want to watch. I don't even want to participate. I just want to we want to be in a corner, just like yes. Intriguing.
All right, so they're looking at houses, correct?
yes, and he's been
Big
approved for
ones.
apparently a $750,000 mortgage. Apparently, he's
But-
got money from when he played arena football. He said he invested it well, and that he had money hidden places or whatever. Apparently, that was the done
Sure.
thing.
Cayman Islands, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
he had
No, if
offshore
that's-
accounts. Yeah.
And
You
she's just
fucking-
like, oh, is that what you do if you have money? Oh, I don't know.
I've never had any, so I don't know where to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm incapable of looking at what a bank is.
So they're doing like virtual tours. This is Corona. They're doing virtual tours of houses, and they've found one that they liked by FaceTime, and they've decided they wanted to make a bid on it. And the realtor's like asking for proof of funds. This is where the first sort of incidences started happening. And he's having a problem proving proof of funds, apparently. Risa Tisa talking to the realtor.
It's a normal thing to if you put enough, they just want to know you
mean-
have the money, right?
When you
right,
buy a
that's
house,
right.
you have to get pre-approval for a
Prove you
loan.
can
That
pay
has
it.
to be, you have to have that proof.
Which
And he
Scott,
was
the
wanting
realtor,
to put
fucked
in a
up.
cash.
A
He wanted
cash
to put in a
offer.
cash offer, correct?
On a house.
Yeah.
Yes, on one of the houses. Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
was that the first one? Or
No, the first one was a mortgage, and it was much less,
Right.
and it was easier to get, so they didn't really ask. But now, since he put in a cash offer, he's like, "Oh shit, I forgot to get your credentials in the beginning. Can I please have your proof of funds?"
Well, no,
Yeah.
No,
the first one, remember, he was already
and the guy was like,
pre-approved.
"Fuck." No, that
well,
was
they said he said
allegedly, bro. He just showed whatever
Allegedly.
paper. I was like, "I approve. Get out of here."
Because she
It's
said,
fucking lie.
and remember, he, I don't know where he got his paperwork, but she says, I
The
saw
internet.
the paperwork.
Google.
I saw the
Paperwork, yeah, the approval.
You
I
reverse
would be
image
like, yeah,
search. It's the
I'd
the
believe it.
He didn't even do a good job of hiding it. It's like the first one, though. The first, welcome to Chase. It's so stupid.
Mhm.
But I would be
There was,
like her. I'd be like,
visible
believe it.
mistakes
Like,
on it even.
I mean,
And she's
think
like-
about it.
She's like, "Man, I just want to be married. I don't give a fuck if you're lying. I mean, just marry me."
I don't even
Well,
think
it's
that. You know
he's
what?
blowing
I
up.
think,
He's
You know
blowing
what? I
up.
don't
Like, why is he even talking to you about this? This is my loan. Why is the realtor even talking to you? So that's like another thing too. So he's like taking full control of the situation. And
Because the
trying to keep
realtor,
her
the
away
first
from it.
realtor was his boy, and that's one of the first lies she caught. She's like,
Right.
"What? Why? Okay, so he didn't know if the offer was in or not because that's like, oh, don't worry, my friend is handling it, who's a realtor." But then they realized that he never put the offer in. He just let it go.
Yeah.
And
So
then he
she's
kind of
talking to a real realtor
Hmm.
that she thinks is
Right.
putting in the offer. And
Right.
then he's like, no, my boy's done the offer. That's why I haven't done it with that realtor. And then they're getting
Well,
into
yeah.
arguments about it. So
That's
she's
a-
stepping back.
Well,
And
even
that's
on
a
like
lie.
Zillow or Realtor.com, it showed that it was at that point where they were. I mean, she thought they bought the house, the first one,
Yeah.
and
Right.
she was like, "Oh, it's in this status. He must have done what he was supposed to do." And,
Furthermore, they're
and
shopping for furniture.
Then her
They're out
women's
there
intu-
putting
her
deposits
women's
down
intuition,
on appliances. Like,
she's like, "I just went on Zillow to see," and it's like,
they put down payments. They put on furniture. They were saying we can't get into it till now because there's a family living into it. And then finally it came off of the realtor.com, and she was like, wait, hold on. This is, and she called him and the actual realtor, and they were like, no, I mean, somebody else bought it, and this was the family, and there wasn't ever a real family living in this place. He had said the reason they couldn't go see it or it was taking so long is
There's a family
because
in there.
of there's a family in there, and
Right.
that,
and
with
they needed
COVID
to do
and
inspections after they'd left.
Of course.
Yeah.
Something like
The
that.
perfect
Yeah.
cover, everything that you have to lie about and anything that could be conclusively used against you to prove the lie, you can just say, no, COVID.
yeah, I mean,
Amazing.
let's be
Well, you know
real.
what?
Would this let's
Running for my life.
we haven't we haven't gone through the whole thing, and we're not even, at the tip of the iceberg at this point. But uh do you think this would have happened had COVID never happened?
Hell no.
No.
I'd like to hope
Mm.
not.
You'd have
know
a
what? I
normal
think
I'd
timeline
like
of
to hope
dating.
not either, but I don't know with as much.
She's smart enough to pick up those lies. She just didn't have enough time, like FaceTime, to
She
get those.
did pick up those lies. She started making voice memos to herself, like,
Yeah.
something's not hitting. But do you think she wanted to be married so bad that she was?
Yeah.
I mean
That shit
that
fucks
even
you up.
without COVID, was she willing to overlook it, or was
Oh, yeah.
he that good?
Well,
Or
I
was
COVID
think
made me
he
a
that?
bitch. Ooh.
there are exes that have come out and said that they've suffered lesion as well. There's
Yeah.
3 exes that have come out
Yeah.
and said
So
Yeah.
told
that's
similar
prior to
lies to
COVID.
them
Yeah.
too. But not only did he have all these extra resources to make his lies believable during Corona, but he was well rehearsed. Like he'd practiced these
Thanks,
lies
Kimmy.
before.
I mean, hey, what's up? What's going on? But it was well
That's Dave's
rehearsed.
high school first love. Is Kim.
Welcome in.
Kim-
Welcome
Kim-
in,
I love her
everyone.
dearly.
Welcome
She's
in.
great. Yes.
Wait, hold on. That's Dave's first love.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
I
And
love
you're
her
not-
dearly. She's great. I love
Did
her.
you guys get into like a fight, like a clawing
No,
fight?
never. No.
Wow.
Curious.
No, she's great. I love her a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. My mom is best friends with my dad's ex-wife.
Oh, really?
Crazy, right? Modern family. Yeah, we all have dinner.
I'm not friends with my ex. I actually got her kicked her out of a bar. So I'm not.
I would never. Like you guys are big. You guys are very mature people. I can never see you again. If we
Okay,
break
that
up.
was in
I'm gonna
high
have to
school
leave.
or shortly after that they were together, and I'm here now. So I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It's not like.
But you know what? You know what though? But that's beautiful that you guys are friends.
No,
You know
she's
what I
great.
mean?
I love her.
Because it just it's a beautiful thing when you can I don't want to know my.
I would fight. Jamie, what made you a bitch during COVID? We need to know a little bit more. Just add
Let's
some
be
color
real.
to
Hold
that.
on. She was always a bitch. She just
COVID
became-
magnified it.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, I love you, Jamie, but let's be real. You're the bitch.
Let me
of
bring
this.
that.
That's my weakness. That's my weakness when they treat me just a little bit like shit. That's
You know what though? You know what? Okay. So I think that if I were in her shoes during COVID and then I'd gotten pregnant and then I'd lost my baby and here's this guy that's supposedly giving me the support or at least the
he wasn't even there.
attention I
He wasn't even
needed.
there for the thing.
No, but the attention that she
Hey.
needed
He loved
at that
the
time.
crap out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God.
I didn't mean to laugh at that.
Also,
That
your
was,
daughter's hilarious.
yeah, she's awesome.
I need to meet
pretty
her
sure-
in real life.
I'm
You
pretty
need
sure
to
she has
meet her.
perfect timing. I'm pretty sure she has perfect timing.
Let me tell you, I will bring her on one day onto one of our podcasts, and
Mom,
you guys
can't
can
be
have
friends
at it
with your
her.
ex. He's in the ground. It's true.
I'm sorry.
We have a
Mind
spiritual
you.
connection.
Mind you, my ex-husband has passed away, so that's why she's.
I know. That's
I
why
just
it's
wanna
so
say,
fucking
though,
funny.
For people,
Are you really
people
trying to
don't
communicate?
know.
There are Ouija boards. There are tarot cards. Like there are ways to communicate. If you it's a seance,
There are
we can
ways
do
around
anything.
this.
For
You
people
wanna-
who don't know, my daughter's father's passed away. That's what she's saying.
I love that she can joke about it, though.
Yeah,
We can
Oh,
joke
yeah.
about it because we love your mother so much. That's why.
every day she jokes about it. Trust me, I hear it every
Yeah.
day.
Yes.
But
I would probably be in her shoes. You know what I mean? Like he's not giving me the attention like 100%, but he's still. You know what I mean? Like once
he's
you go through
there. He's a
traumatic
warm body.
thing-
And
She's
not
there.
even that. Let's be real. A narcissist like that, I mean, is
They're very
really
good at
good at,
manipulating.
really good at gaslighting you. Like I'm feeling.
Everything's about me.
Well, and the thing is when you doubt what they say and you try to fucking get the proof, there's some
Make you
they
doubt you.
either talk their way out of it
Yeah.
or they
Gaslighting
have
is
a
like
way.
they lie to make you feel crazy, and then when you corroborate the story, then they're
Yes.
like they take it back, and you're like, "What the fuck did you? Am I?"
Right.
And that's when you feel like
And
you just want to throw yourself off a fucking bell tower.
And typically by the time that it's gotten to the point where you're like, what the fuck? Why am I here? It's just like
because the pussy's so
whittle.
good. That's why.
Well, no, they whittle away at your self-worth. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, well, maybe I am fucking crazy. You know, it's just these little notches of, you know,
Chips away at you.
Very
it
subtle.
does. It is. And so I don't know if it seems like it happened a little quickly.
And plus,
Well, I
you
think
don't want to
it's
leave
worth
because you're having that
mentioning.
crazy
You
sex
tell
like
the
that.
story differently to how Risa told it. So you're like, yeah, they're looking at houses, they're putting money down on appliances, all those sorts of things. And then you go back and you think about the fact that they're also looking at cars. They're going, so the
Audis.
day they're not looking at cars, they're looking at houses. So they're out every day looking at big ticket items every day. They're going out
and
to
that's
dinner.
kind of the type of person. I mean, that's what they do, right? It's these
Yep.
big, grandiose, you know, gestures of their love. Here's what I'm doing for you, and even if it's not true, you know,
Allow me
Giving
to
with this hand and taking with this.
yes, exactly.
allow me to pick you up from poverty and show you another world, and then whoops, the world is gone back to poverty, and it's everything is in the palm of their hand. It's the ultimate.
He's taken her to places like Jaguar, and they're test driving these Jaguar
Or
cars. and they're test
BMW. She
driving
was
BMWs.
set on that BMW with
Audi.
that was navy blue with the cognac interior. You know, it was a SUV. That's the
They're
one she
buying the
wanted.
stove. Like, they're
Yes.
doing all
But also,
like,
but also think about it. How many times have we just quickly jumped into a relationship right away and gotten married?
Never.
You know what I mean? Like,
I have always
lot.
vetted my women.
do you know what I mean? So
It's a motherfucking lie.
I'm on my third one.
Yeah, I like.
But the
like,
third
"Hi,
one worked.
Nice to meet you. My name's
I'm on my
Jennifer.
second one. The second one worked. Not the
I
first
am
one. But the
yours.
second one.
Take
Yeah,
me
my
with you
third
to your
one
house."
You know, so I don't blame her for what she's done. You know, I would be, you know, especially if, like I said, if he's taking care of my bills. So
But your bills are
obviously he's
shit.
got money.
Your bills are shit. He says he has a ton of money, and your bills are like $1,500 a month, or like $1,800. Like,
Yeah,
so
I
he
mean,
has
she was paying less than $1,000 a month for rent,
Right,
which in Atlanta area is very inexpensive. Fuck,
Yeah.
even in Omaha, that's inexpensive right now for
Yeah, I
rent.
mean, there are expensive
think
places
about
in
it,
Atlanta
Ian.
for sure, but
maybe
got
back
away with it.
then, that was a lot. Maybe back
6
then that
years
was
ago?
a lot for her. For
6 years
her,
ago?
maybe for
I'm
her
sure it
in
was
her
a lot
situation.
for her.
In her situation,
she was built to
maybe.
bill. She was built to bill. But this guy's a football player that went to San Diego State, lived in California, been divorced. You know, he's lived adventures, and he's
Let's
come back to.
reiterate
You know?
that a arena football player at the very top people only make $64,000 a year.
By the
Not
way, I
enough
You didn't know anything
to
about
have
arena
offshore.
football.
Don't you think you do your goddamn research? I'm just
Well,
saying.
she's working in a police station. Like, wouldn't you? Like,
Yeah.
you'd be more
that would have
inclined
been a
to
red
go-
flag. That would have been a
Yeah.
red flag for me.
Wouldn't
I work
even
at a
your friends
police
like have you
station.
background search this guy? Like, like she's saying she's friends with everybody there. Like, didn't somebody
Well,
search it?
just the arena
At some
football thing.
point?
When she's like, I don't really know a lot about arena football. Well, here's why you don't, because nobody fucking does and nobody cares.
And that's
gives a
why
shit,
Google
and-
was overloaded with freaking
Yeah,
arena searches. What
exactly.
is
He
arena
himself-
football?
He himself said, I proudly rode the pine, which means he never played. He rode the
No,
bench.
he sat on the
and
bench,
he
so
made
there's no way.
$30,000 a year.
Yes. If that.
And after a couple of Outback Steakhouses, you make what? You're taking home $18,000. Wow, you're
Right.
killing it. You know.
So
You're still
even
gonna
if
be
you
a
do
bag
that
boy.
for 2 years, that's $36,000 that you're bringing home. There's no way that turned into offshore money.
Man, you better put it in Switzerland.
Oh, sure.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
Just
You
saying.
better call the Cayman Islands.
What kind of condiments you selling?
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
true. And how are
Yeah.
you making that much money at how is a condiment company saying we're going to give you a company vehicle for $90,000?
You sell our spice, we give you vehicle. Man.
Seriously? $90,000 they were saying.
What kind of
I'm
spice
also
was that?
wondering
Was
how
that?
that works. Like, do you actually get to choose? Like, when you get a company car, do you get to go and choose
No,
it?
I've had a company
No, you
car. And it was
don't.
like
Like, just
Here's
you
what
a
you
car.
get.
no, actually, sometimes you do. They're like, it could be these, whatever, because that's the kind of insurance we have. Like, when I was a chef, they gave me a company car as part of my salary. It was a Honda Element. It was like the first year that the Honda Element came out.
Oh.
I had a Galapagos green Honda Element before anybody. People were like, "What the fuck is that?" Right? It's like seeing a Cybertruck. But that was awesome. It was part of my salary, but I didn't get to choose it. It was just like, here you go.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think a company is going to be like, you have $90,000. We're going to give you a luxury vehicle.
You sell spice, so nice.
Because you sell ketchup, mustard, and mayo.
Yeah, what kind of spice is this, bro? All you did was like salt and pepper together.
It's not like we're in Dune.
Right, yeah. That's spice.
I want to know what company he worked for.
It was probably Heinz.
Mrs. Dash.
It was probably Heinz or something, but I don't even think he ever.
I don't even think so.
There.
It was probably those little packets.
Well, it came out that he has a twin brother that works there, so he was literally
his twin brother was the VP.
Twin brother's wife. All the lives,
but his twin brother actually lives in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
To skip ahead a little bit, he's actually a VP of a company. He actually drives luxury cars. He has a mansion. He's married with children. Mm-hmm. So pretty much the older brother corroborated later on that he has been basically living vicariously through he just assumed his brother's identity, which is extreme schizophrenia and bipolarism. You know.
Yes.
And please, like I said, everybody, please go back and watch on her whole story, so you don't get like clips and bits on TikTok. Go back on YouTube, watch her story, and
YouTube. Yeah,
it's gonna mind blow because she is very, very she's very good at telling the story. She's really
which surprises me. You can tell how smart she is, which surprises me how dumb she made herself to accept this guy and believe all the guy's bullshit. She's smart enough to unravel these things. She's smart enough to tell us chronologically and not give away the story. Like, she was excellent. Like, she's analytical enough that this shouldn't have happened to her. It was a combination of COVID and a crazy guy.
I love what she says, that even if it makes her look bad, she's gonna tell the truth.
Yes,
I love that she says that. She's like, and
she could say that. But she could say that just for a moment. Like, let's push back a little bit on Tisa. She could say that. And then maybe Legion is not articulate enough to like really defend himself, other than just like, nah, you know.
But she did.
And she is.
She made herself look bad.
But that's what she tells us.
No, but she did say a couple things where she's like, I know this is gonna make me look bad. I know I did this, A, B, C, and D. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
if I was winning in Las Vegas, I'd lose a couple.
Say some things. She'll be like, oh. And then I believed him, or then I did this. And sometimes you just like see how much she's just can't even get the words out that she's.
But after a while, she's like, oh, let me guess, something else is going to happen to stop us from buying a car, a house. You know,
I also
being happy.
feel like there was a few times she's telling the stories, and she's also made a few realizations where she's like, oh, actually, I hadn't even made a connection to that till this second.
Yeah. Somebody in the comments told me how stupid somebody in the comments was like, man, I feel so stupid.
And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very, very honest. In the beginning, when I watched her story, there was something, and I think I told Sam, I said, you know what, there's just something there that just doesn't feel right. There's just something there that doesn't, like, in her story, the way she's talking about it.
Okay, so
like, I don't know.
A couple of holes there?
Yeah, there's just something there that just didn't, just didn't add up.
Maybe she exaggerates a little bit?
Stuff like that. But until I heard Legion's side, fuck that.
Like, dude, no side.
Dude, this girl,
I
believed her 100% before. Now I believe her 6,000%.
I literally have pages of notes listening to Legion that I was like, nope, this is wrong. You know what I mean? Because you can
fuck you, fuck you.
Not even that. You can see. You could just, like in the beginning of his commentary on everything, you could definitely tell he was a narcissist. He was like, I swooped in to help her.
Oh, the white knight complex. Always the white knight.
Always.
I told her to fix her credit, and that's why I left. And she was fucking Bradley.
And even when asked, he refused to give proof of playing football in San Diego.
Here's the thing.
I did go down there.
My dad paid extra. My dad paid extra to make me a private citizen.
I did go down to SDSU to see if I could find anything.
Of course not.
Yeah, they're kind of closed because spring break, so anywhere. But
we're in Lake Havasu. Call us in a month.
Right.
After the week, we'll be back.
Let me save you the trip down to the school. He never went there. He's never been outside of the
He's never
state
been
of Georgia. He's never been outside of Georgia.
Yes, he
But
has. He was
I'm sorry, the East Coast. The East Coast.
East
I
Coast,
wanted
Rhode
to try to
Island,
get a
Pennsylvania,
picture.
Georgia. Huh?
No, there's
I
nobody
wanted to
there.
get a picture of, if you know how you have legacies of football and,
Yeah.
tennis
The
and
Mhm.
stuff
football
like that.
team. Yeah.
He wasn't
Yeah.
a part of none of that.
Mm-mm.
Well, I was trying to go back to see if I could get a picture of that type of the football team that they had at that year to see and to show proof, hey, there are pictures here. Anybody can take pictures. But they're closed, so maybe
There
I
are no
can.
pictures. There are no pictures.
So,
No one.
when Risa Tisa was on the Tamron show, she mentioned that they did a background check because they do background checks on
Oh, I
everybody
saw
on
that.
Right.
Yeah.
they go.
Yeah.
So she mentioned that they did a background check and they couldn't find
No.
they sort of certified everything that Risa sort of found on her search.
Yeah.
Like they didn't find history of him being in arena football or any of the
Right.
schools that he said he was enrolled in.
Can you show me pictures? I can't because I was a private citizen. But what do you
Yeah, no,
mean?
yeah.
You were
Well,
on the
no,
roster. You were
what
on the
he
roster. You had to
said-
play. Your name was on the back of your fucking jersey. How can you be a private citizen?
What he said about it is especially their arena football, they didn't want the bad press from Risa
Mhm.
Tisa to
Yeah.
fall back on them.
Oh,
Bullshit.
yeah. Everybody's
That
so mad at
fucking
yeah.
arena football league that he's referencing hasn't even been an arena football league for years. Bullshit.
The team does. I mean,
Who's that
even if
at this point, like,
Yeah,
there's no office
It's-
sitting there stressing about.
you're
"Oh,
not
what
making
did I
them
do?"
lose any money.
it's quickly and demonstrably false, which means like it's super pathological because he's not even thinking them through. So if he was to
No.
say that same interview next week, he would say
It'd be
completely
different.
different shit.
Yeah.
And it would, I mean, the guy would, you guys had great points last week. The guy who interviewed him, he was like, well, tell me about this. Tell me about like this specific, who's Junebug? And he'd be like, I don't know. He's like, okay, we all know because we're watching the TikTok that Junebug was his uncle or whatever, his great uncle. And he'd be like, hey, what's up, bro? Yo, Junebug says, what's up? Hey, man, how would you gonna do this weekend? And then like, there's nobody there. So
Okay, so
that's
my only
like, and then he's like, there's no
thought about
Junebug.
this.
What?
My only thought about that on Risa's fault. How many times I will be on the phone with my daughter, and Dave will be in the kitchen, and he'll be like, "I caught part of that. What did she say?" So how did? I mean, you have to have your
I've been
phone
thinking
down to
about
like
that
this
too.
amount.
But what if
for
it was in her
somebody not-
ear? What if he had an earplug?
But
So
the big
like we've just got to assume, I guess, at this stage, because some of these phone calls he had on loudspeaker, some of them were real phone calls, and some of them were fake phone calls. So we've like the only way
said,
that
"What's
I
up?"
could fathom that you would believe someone was on the phone for half an hour, 45 minutes to nobody
Because
is if
it's
that
not
was just
unfathomable. Yeah, who would do
it
that?
is unfathomable. But you just
Yeah.
you just have to assume that maybe because she'd heard people on this particular day, she just assumed that the volume was down. Like maybe it's just not something she'd thought of. Because like
The
I mentioned
alarming,
last
no
week,
one would
she'd
think
never
that. Yeah.
experienced these kind of lies. Why
The alarming
would
thing is like, yeah, exactly. Like no one would
she
ever
wouldn't
think
have
of
a
that. Like,
reason to think, oh, he's faking it. Like,
and then
I
it's
would-
not. They didn't die. They didn't die last year. These people died in 2008. So like, how long has this been like a snowball
That was-
delusion?
the craziest shit to me. I'm like,
Junebug, he's been dead since 2008.
So we're gonna fast forward now to where. So we've gone through the college football. Now there
was none.
There was none. They
There was
didn't buy the
none.
house. He
Arena
told them
football?
because
None.
of interest rates were too high. And now they're at her place, right? My
Mhm.
understanding,
Still.
they're at her place still.
they
Um,
She's disillusioned now.
Where's
She's like, fuck it. I
start-
don't care if I get a house or not.
the mid-May,
well, she's like, I don't even want to talk
she's
about
pregnant.
houses. Yeah, May
Okay,
she does
Mid-May,
find
she
out she's
finds out
pregnant.
she's pregnant. Yes,
He didn't
and-
show up. He didn't show up to the procedure either. Sorry to cut you off there. He didn't show up to the procedure, so she's salty about that because he was like, "Well, I have to get this like our fetus out of me because I'm miscarrying him, and there's no
Yeah.
way to
Well,
pass
she's
him."
Tiff,
stressed
can you-
throughout the beginning of the pregnancy, and she's already worried about miscarrying because she is
the
admittedly
houses are going
overweight.
wrong. The cars are going
older.
wrong.
Yeah,
mhm.
this house they say they have, or he says they have, is not working out. She finds out, and then she goes in, and they're like, "Yeah, there was no heartbeat."
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
do we? Okay, so where is it where she starts doubting this?
She
Oh.
started doubting.
The one after the other, like nothing working out and seeing the pattern.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause-
kind of prior to the pregnancy, and she's like, "Oh fuck, I'm pregnant now." Yeah,
I think one of
you know,
the parts I remember the most is that they were going to like his job. They were going to the condiment factory or whatever, and he was like on the phone with no one, going, "Oh, hey, is Larry there?
oh,
Oh, we got.
that's
Oh,
later on.
he got the
Hold on.
So
keys."
she
But
started
that's
her
what she
audio
really.
That's
diaries
like
in
in
May. So
yes,
early May
when
Okay.
she
she got
starts her
pregnant.
audio
Yeah.
diaries.
Okay,
She's
got it.
already alarm bells ringing by May, and they met in March. Like,
So can we
So 3
kind
months
of
in, she's
touch
got
over
red flags.
can we touch in where she when when she does the miscarriage, who came and got her, who dropped her off? Can we recap that?
yes. So
Mhm.
she was
And I will
saying
be
that,
right back.
she wanted to try and do it with the pill, and that didn't go very well for her. They did it on his birthday. They went
Horrendous
out,
pain,
celebrated
right?
his birthday. She went home and did the pill. It was a painful night. And it turns out that she didn't pass all of the things. So she was all of the fetus, unfortunately. So she was booked in for a D&C of the first week of July. So this is May, mid-May, she found out she was pregnant. June, we've discovered that early June is when he must have proposed, because by mid-June she was taking the pill. June 17th is when she was taking the pill
Right.
from the
On his
miscarriage
Right.
on his birthday. And then
Right.
so mid-July, early first week of July, she said she's scheduled to go in for a DSC, and she's insistent that she wants him to take her, obviously being such a sensitive situation.
No,
And
don't worry, babe. I'll take an Uber to this
well,
extremely.
yeah, at first he's all good, and then he's like, my sister can take you. My
oh
sister
wait,
is a
no,
nurse.
remember though, the reason he couldn't take her is he was up
We
for
had
a
a meeting.
promotion.
That's right.
He was up
That's right.
for a promotion to be the VP,
Yes.
and he had to meet with whomever that day, but he
It
would
was
be there at the
too
end.
important.
Too
So
important.
important.
I'd be like, "Fuck off, my fiance." You know what I mean? That's just what you do, right? You're there for
Absolutely.
the people you
People would
love.
reschedule meetings for that kind of a reading, like that kind of a reason too. Like,
Yeah,
and realistically, like, because she's
and
going
the
to be there
company
for
would
all
understand.
day. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like, you could make it work.
There's no job. There's no job that has you in that highest standing, paying you $200,000 a year, that would pigeonhole you in any way to stop you from going to a procedure that important. There's no
I
job like
constantly
that.
remind my friends, like, okay, well, how much is your job paying you an hour, and how much do you consider your life worth an hour?
right.
$1 trillion an hour.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
worth it.
Well, and the
Mhm.
thing is he's like, so her friend from work, her best friend from work, took her there,
So she
and
ended up going with her, yes.
yes, and
She's
then
like, "I'm
he
not
said,
going with your sister that I don't know, I've never met. I don't care if she's a
yeah,
nurse. I don't care if we're family." Yeah, she
his
went with her
sister.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's very
His
personal.
sister.
And but not only that is like also around that time he got an executive assistant, which means like he doesn't even talk to her directly anymore. It's like, "Hi, this
See?
But
is
he
I
David."
want to know
promised
who
her
your
he
person is.
promised her, though, he would be available for her the whole day, regardless of what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden, when she's like, "Hey, babe, I'm done," he was his executive assistant, David, whoever the fuck that was, it was probably him, faking, from
Do
his
you
hoe
think
phone.
he was just getting a hand job while she was getting an abortion?
I mean, he probably paid
We
whatever
have to
he
Okay,
just
do you
asked him
think
to pay for the hand job.
that was like a
Right.
voice recording, or maybe do you think like because I know like my kids, they'll play tricks on us. Like my son, he loves to
It was
um
all through text, though,
It
I
was all
believe.
text. The only person that ever
oh
spoke to David on the phone was the nurse, and
Cool.
David didn't
So,
even go
they
and
wouldn't have
get
known.
Legion. He hung up, and Legion called back
Right.
later. So it was a different
Yes.
person that spoke to.
Yeah.
So I don't.
they would
Yeah.
have
He's
never
like,
known.
"Hi,
And
this is
he
David."
probably talked to a different nurse anyway, so
Right.
it was probably just Legion the whole fucking time.
You sound a lot like Jerome. No, this is David, and I'm his assistant. I'm his liege.
So he would have
You know,
never. None of the nurses would have ever known.
No, they wouldn't have.
if you don't go and
But
show your
she was
face,
only texting, yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
But it took him how many hours? 3 or no,
That's
longer
right.
than
Yeah.
that.
oh yeah, it was into the night.
3.5 hours she was left in recovery, and she shouldn't have been there for more than an hour, given where he was, traffic, etc., and
Right.
whatnot.
He
They
chose
tried
the
calling.
The
spice.
nurses were feeling bad for her, like,
both of you.
your
Do you have a
fiance couldn't
home?
be here, the father of this, you
Right.
know,
We just had to scoop out your son. We had to scoop out your son. Where's your fucking husband?
All three of you, what would you have done if you were in her shoes as sitting there waiting for him to come pick you up and he doesn't pick you up? Would you at that point call it quits? Yeah, but would you at that point?
Surgery, you'd be sick. I have no idea how you'd be feeling because you've got to recover at that point. So,
I mean,
plus you've also she being a highly Christian woman, you know, like she shouldn't have been in this situation. She feels like shamed, like she didn't want to tell a lot of her family or friends what was going on. She didn't want to involve them, like a lot of them probably against this procedure as well. So I guess that,
and she's living with a man, well, and, you know, out of wedlock.
Which she said she'd never do, and so she's living in sin, in shame, like battling herself.
Well, I found it funny that she's like, I'm highly Christian. It's fine. She's adorable. She was like, I'm highly Christian, yet okay, nothing. I cuss all the fucking time.
Babe. It's never. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Here's the sin I don't want to do, but I was. But I'll say fuck all the time. I mean, she didn't hold her cusses back, right? And I'm not. Let's be real. I fucking cuss like a fucking sailor, but you know,
she Catholic.
It's always funny to see people pick and choose what parts of certain religion.
I guess that's my thought
I like this Judaism part. Like I like this Judaism. I like the holidays, but I just want to be like a Christian.
Well, yes, that one. No, not that one. Yes, that one.
Yes, we do reincarnate. We do.
Tricky, maybe on Tuesdays.
But to answer your question, Tiffy, I think at that point, for me personally, if somebody didn't care enough for me when I had to forcibly miscarry our child,
but sweetie, I'm your husband.
Fixed, for them to not be there for me, that would be that would be.
But he also waited on her hand and foot for the weeks following the recovery. So you know, the gaslighting and that narcissism came straight back through the door the second he screwed up. You know,
you're right.
I'm paying your bills. I'm paying your bills.
That day, though, I'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm leaving," and then he'd be like, "Oh, but babe, you."
No, fuck you. He's leaving because that's her house. So she'd have to like kick him out.
Selena
she was expressive about how he waited on her hand and foot and took it like immaculate care of her afterwards. So once again, that gaslighting situation,
they do that all the time.
And you're also what's the emotional change given the procedure she's just gone through. Like, who knows what kind of mental emotional state she was in at that point.
And I get it. I've stayed with people way longer than I should.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Way longer than I
should. My abortion was a mess. It was way too long, and I felt like I should have been sewn up way earlier. It was
That's
like a vacuum cleaner.
I feel for her. Like I feel for her in a lot of ways because you know,
as if he knows what's going on.
He doesn't know anything.
I know.
My ovaries.
You know nothing, AC.
Well, remember, she's going through this during COVID time, so he's not allowed to be in the hospital with her. So I want to make that sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't take you fucking 3 hours to pick up your fucking fiance.
In his defense, you wouldn't have seen her anyway.
Even not in Corona time, this procedure, like they're only there with you before you go in, and then they leave and come back and pick you up anyway. So like that's always the way. He was always going to have to come back on time and pick her up.
I would have lied though. I would have been like, I'm right outside. What does she know? She's on drugs. She's getting,
you know what?
Just reel her out and leave her on the curb.
This time.
I had a procedure done during COVID, right? I had some surgery done, and my husband sat in the parking lot and waited.
My husband would have
4 hours.
How do you know he was there?
How do I know he was there? Because I have a tracker
Life
location.
360.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly. I have a tracker location.
Honey, I was right outside I was like a dog pressed against a window.
I can tell you where Dave is right now by Life 360. I mean,
I was at a bar. I was getting fucked up waiting for you to come too, man.
Right now,
yeah, no.
Playing beer pong.
We have trackers on our phone. I mean, even my
we
daughter,
have trackers.
She's the first one to, if I say I'm somewhere and I'm not there, she's just like, no,
I'm
Mom's
just saying,
over at this
you're
store.
knocked out. You're knocked out. You're not looking at Apple Maps. You know what I'm saying? You're under the knife.
Yeah, but,
I'm gonna go to the strip club.
You have trackers. But you have trackers on your phone. Well, at least
who's gonna track me? Who's gonna track me? You're asleep.
I will. You know what? If not me,
but you
my
can
daughter
tell where
will.
they're at. I mean, I can tell you. I can look up
disappear.
Dave right now and know where he's been out all day.
Yeah, it tells you exactly from the minute they move.
You guys are sick.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Yeah,
I mean,
literally, I can tell where he's been all day.
Yeah,
I won't put it too close on there.
Yeah.
Coming
I can
from the
tell
guy
where he's
who
been all day.
I have a Tesla. I just have to look at see where she's driving. Like
Right.
she sees where I'm
See, you do
going.
it too. Don't say we're sick.
I
Don't
have to
say
take an
you
Uber
don't.
to the strip club. I have to take an Uber. I just can't take my
You're-
car.
Oh my god, I'm telling you, my daughter. Best believe I'm tracking
Best
her.
believe I'm tracking your ass. Tracking your ass like a giraffe in Africa.
I know
She
every time
does.
I ask where my kid is, she's like, "You have me on Life 360." Duh.
Oh no.
That's what
I
that's what
will-
Allie has on her dad. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's playing bingo. I'm like, dude,
Yep.
he's 3,000 miles away.
I'll leave like at 1 o'clock or
It's
2 o'clock in the
comforting.
morning to
I'll
go.
tie
Like,
that shit around a dog's neck and be like,
I'll leave like at at 11 or 1 or 2 in the morning to go to the casino with my parents or whatever. And next thing I get a phone call with my kid. Where are you going? Why were you out so late? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't even live here. You're in fucking Seattle.
You're
did
like,
you
"It doesn't
enjoy that
matter."
third martini? I saw you. I saw you from the satellite.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
fucked up.
So definitely she does track me and my husband all the
Yeah.
time.
You're not home yet, are you? I don't have a
Oh,
tracker
you
on
should
my
have
husband.
a tracker
but-
on your husband.
Oh yeah. Put a tracker on him. Put a tracker. You'd be surprised.
Doesn't matter with the kid.
I don't think you want to know where he's been, honestly. Some people do that and find out that their husband's been going to a gay bar for like 15 years. Getting a hand job from a dude and just like
From a dude
Well,
named Peaches.
yeah,
at that
I'm
point-
joking.
suck it, Peaches. Tonight your name is
So here's
Peaches.
the question. So at that point, would you guys call it quits? Would that be the one that says, you know what, I'm done? Like for me, I think at that point I'd be like, you weren't here for me at
You'd
the
be
toughest, my
seriously
lowest point.
thinking about it
Then
at the very least. Like she's in her own house, like she doesn't have to move. Like you'd think you'd just be like, get out at that point. Like
You
Yeah.
fucking kick him to the curb.
Get your
However, with him, he
Paying all
backtracked
the
and was
bills.
like, "Let me make it up for it. Let me make up for it. Let me make up for it." And so she was like, "Well, maybe I was just overreacting." You know what I mean?
And now they're looking at
Yeah.
houses again all of
Hell
a
yeah.
sudden after
Yeah.
the last one fell through. So she's
Because
like,
let me
Yeah.
dangle this thing in front of this carrot in front of
But
you.
look,
oh,
he's
and
trying.
at this point,
He's trying.
they're
He's,
actually talking about the holiday already. So because she
Yes.
told her story in a different order, so he's dangling a holiday in front of her house. The holiday
Oh, yes.
sorry. So
Dangling.
he's telling her, here's this holiday of your dreams that you've told me about, and he's dangling this extra piece of fruit in front of her. At this
is
point
that
in time as
London,
well.
London and Paris,
And
right?
yeah, it was
That's
only
right.
London. Yes.
So,
Yes.
because she
No, only
told her
London.
story in different sections. The timeline,
Right.
once you put it together like that, you're just like, wait a minute. It's Paris, it's dinners, it's bills are paid,
Taking me to your
houses,
job, like
cars.
yeah,
like-
nothing that you've said you have, I can see. I just have to
She's
trust
She's
you
at
on
least
everything.
curious of the life that she thinks she could be potentially living at this point. She thinks there's
Right.
offshore money. Like she thinks there's, oh, you got money.
Oh, you got Cayman
like,
money.
So you got to wonder, like, if she's thinking maybe this is worth holding out for financially or security wise.
was that before? Was that before he showed her where he worked and said, "Hey, that's where I work"?
That
at,"
was
and she's like,
before.
you know what?
Yes, before
Show me.
he was like, "Look at this. I have this trip, but it's not yet, but we're going to go to London." And he knew she wanted to go to London and Paris, and that was her
He
dream.
worked her, man. He did her dirt, bro. That was dirt.
Well, that's what they do. They find out all of your fucking greatest dreams and things, and they're like, "Oh, let me figure out how to manipulate you into,
Let me
fuck
I'm gonna
around, be like,
use
you and
these
turn you
things."
into a rotten
My dr-
orange. Well,
My dream is to own the Miami Dolphins. Go ahead. Try. Try.
So go back a little bit where he shows her where he works.
Okay,
They
so
go to the building.
this was between this was before Christmas, I believe.
Because he had
Yeah.
a deadline, right? Like she wanted to move before the end of the year.
She did. Well, no, they had to move before. Oh, sorry, that was aggressive. They
Yeah.
were her lease ran out in. It was after. It was like the next year.
21.
They
Yeah.
weren't married yet, so it was. So in 2021 in like August. But she was like, okay, we're putting the house on hold. We're not doing that.
After the holidays or whatever she said.
Yeah,
So
let's
she's
after
like,
the
"We need a
holiday. I don't
break."
even want to fucking think about it.
I want to
so they
enjoy beans, greens, tomatoes, potatoes, bang, gang, balls, balls. You
This
name it.
And I think him showing her or where he worked was after they were married.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest mistake he could make.
That's where I work.
They
Can
were
I go
out to
inside?
dinner. They
No.
went to the Cheesecake Factory again or somewhere. And but
She had a great time.
This was, and he goes, "Oh, that's where our new building is." Blah blah blah. And guess what? I have a
See that
company
building
car.
you see? Yeah, not that one. The one behind it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. You can't see
And
it from
by
here.
the way,
Right?
that's where my Beamer is because the company bought me a BMW.
You have to squint to
And
see
she's
it.
like, "Let me go see it." And so then he's on the fucking phone going, "Oh, security guy.
Oh, ain't nobody there. Typical.
You know,
You're there, though?
this is how we know how old we are.
Typical
By the
spice
way.
company. Never having the keys. Hello.
Phone is
Can you
this
close
way.
it? Can you close it like this?
No.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, Spice Company. The big fucking Zach Morris.
This is how we yeah, exactly. The rotary. The rotary phone. That's how we know how old we are. But no, and he was like, "Oh," she's like, "Let me see your car. I know your butt hurt about not getting the car you wanted. I got you a whatever it was."
A Kia. She really wanted a Kia. She didn't even want anything crazy. He's
She
the one
ended
that
up
gassed her.
sorting the car out on her own accord in the end. So
Yeah.
Yes,
like
okay.
he paid
Altamont.
some kind of he paid a deposit on something for him and it never went through. So that was weird. But
Right.
he did
Shocker.
tell her he bought a car, made her rearrange work and stay home from work because it was being delivered to her house.
And then, nope, psych.
And speaking of which, speaking of more money, she at this time decides, I want to get a new job. I want to better myself. And at that time, he chastises her and says, "No, you're not. You're never gonna fucking leave that place. You sometimes you love those N words more than you love me."
Right.
Whatever.
And then she has to do a background check, and they need his information. And this is after they've gotten married, by the way.
This is
because
she's getting a new job, right?
Right, because he put one social security number down for the marriage certificate and a different one.
He didn't want to sign it.
Up for this different job.
You're married. You have to sign this. He's like, "Nah, I don't want
So
it."
she's already searched the number on the marriage certificate by this stage and has little to nothing come up.
Right. I mean, the only thing it showed at that point, I think, is that he didn't live in California.
Yeah.
Or no, actually, that was the second one. The first one came back like, meh.
Was that before
no
she
criminal red flags or anything at this point.
Yeah.
Now, was that before she contacted the wife or after?
Well,
no, that's before.
No, when they got married,
she starts getting like zero fucks.
Had this social security number, and she was like, "I'm gonna fucking search it up." As they get married, she's like, "Let me do a background check on this dude, even though we've been together this long."
Late.
Yes, and nothing came back. But then she had to do a background check for the new job she was applying for. And he's like, "I don't know why you need that. You already have, whatever." But
I'm a private citizen.
Yeah.
Question, would you guys do a background? Okay, so
no,
we know now.
No.
Well, no, hold on. With all these red flags, though, I probably would.
I have never done a woman. No way. I'm gonna check a background of a woman.
I think it's different here. You don't just I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to do a background check.
You meet them.
Well, to be fair, she did work in a police station, so she had a little bit easier access to doing.
Selena, how do you do a background check on people? Selena, let us know. How do you do it? Please let Selena tell us in the comments exactly how to do a background check on someone.
Selena.
Pretty good at my online talking, but
honestly, you can
background check.
I mean, I'm
she
gonna be
could
honest.
probably do it through.
You pay like $250.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can pay.
Yeah. You can pay, or you can do it differently. But I'm gonna be honest. How you do a background check on my husband.
You can pay, or you can do it differently.
I mean, differently. There's. But I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of there's a lot of different things. Not like that. I'm saying. There's Spooko. There's so many things out there that you can do.
Just get a private investigator.
Level. But
UBI,
you can get free ones. I mean, there's tons of free ones out there. I did a background check on my husband.
My wife is one. If you need one
together, I did one on my husband before we got married.
No way.
To be honest, I did. Yes,
I'm gonna go off camera, but I'm still here.
How did it look? How was it?
It was great. He had nothing on there.
I mean, we were both delinquents when we met. I know what happened. I was there.
Exactly. Who am I to run that on? Who am I to run to that on a woman when I myself
ran a background check on me? I'm just joking.
It's like, wow. It's like the fucking dead
I revealed to him my past life, and he was like, "Oh."
Wait, what?
I've been needing to see all your accounts now, Dave. The offshore ones. Like,
Yeah.
what's your
Show me the
social
one in the
security
Caymans.
number? Both
Show me
of
the
them.
one in the Caymans, David.
And you know what? I'm gonna be also very, very honest too. I did one on my son-in-law too. You know,
We know.
We know. We all know that story, and
Oh,
that's why I asked. That's
that
why I asked
sounds like
Selena.
something I want to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just because I wanted to make sure she was
Of course.
safe,
And who knows better than dear old mommy? No one.
To
No
be
one
fair,
does.
I didn't
and I'll
have to do
kill
a
you.
background check on Dave before we got married. He told me everything the second night I met him.
Dude, when you met Dave, he was wearing like shorts and Crocs. Like you don't have to do
No,
a
he was
background
wearing
check on him.
a Jacksonville pullover, and he was at a country bar. He did not belong.
Dave says, "Thank you, sweetheart, for not doing a background check on me before we started dating."
You didn't,
No.
I mean, that just means you're not a bad boy. You know.
He's not.
Okay, but here's the thing. I did it because of my past,
Controlling.
of the fucked up shit that I
right.
went through with my ex-husband. I did it because of that. There was a lot of things
you know best.
I didn't want to go back to what I did in the beginning. Like I didn't, they always say,
not your life. Not your life. Just gonna put that in there.
That's fair.
And my, and my husband, we've been together 18 years, so it's been wonderful. But there was things that I didn't want.
Do you think the background check led to the 18 years? Like if you wouldn't have done the background check, would you have found things you didn't like about him anyway? Or would you have not dated him if you found something? And then like not have these 4 children and not have this life? You know what I'm saying? Either way you go, the timeline's fucked.
But at least you know what, I knew up front what I was getting into, and then that was my choice.
But what if that was me before and not now? Like you're gonna judge me on what I did before? You know what I'm saying?
Also, what if he's not a pathological liar and just had a shitty, like AC said, what if that was right? But you know what I mean?
Right.
You don't know if somebody is a pathological liar.
And maybe you're the one. Maybe you're the one that's going to spark this person's whole life, and you're the light that you brought onto this person. And now they're saved and better, and not that because of you.
No one can save anybody.
But here's the thing:
I can save you.
At that point, I already had a daughter. Here's the thing: I already had a daughter at that point. My mindset was, okay, I wanted something serious. I wanted a commitment. I didn't want. I didn't want to play games. Well,
what did he want?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
But here's the thing. This is what my needs needed to be met, because here's the thing. I didn't want to marry I'm in California.
I get it. No baggage. I have baggage, but
not baggage.
I can't have it. Right.
But not only that, but here's the thing. I didn't want, what if he was, the P, or what if there was something there that I didn't know?
A map?
I had a daughter.
None of that will come up in her police report if he's never been caught.
But I had to think about my daughter's safety.
Maybe he's the best.
They only catch bad criminals.
I had to think of the best interest of my daughter.
Sure.
You know what? I have a daughter now. This is not just me by myself.
But just know that you're basing it off of whatever the cops know. Like what's in his heart, you'll never know. He's never been caught by the cops.
Right.
I could be the biggest PDF file of all time, and I eat 23 of them a night, and I'm going to work the next day. You know what I mean? Because it's just nobody can prove it. And I meet you in a coffee shop, and I'm like, I want you to be my wife, and you're like, fuck yeah, crazy ass motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like you never know.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm pretty sure you probably did one on me too. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure, but
I've never done one.
I was open of a book. I was like, this is what I got. This is how it is. I
trust no one. I trust zero
in life,
people.
all you really have is what people say. I mean, because as AC said, I mean, a background check only gives you this much.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I've been caught for. Imagine what
let's
I
be
haven't
real.
been caught for.
If a background check dictated my life, and from the things I've actually done to what's on paper, I'd never have a fucking job.
But here's the thing: if
redemption's out the window.
Mm-hmm.
What if they told you I lived in freaking New York, but he never left? Maybe never left Georgia.
That would be a pretty weird, like, why lie about
right?
that?
I would ask that. I would be like,
and he never told you that. He's like, oh,
But the thing is that women are also incredible detectives, and she chose not to confront him the minute to see that. Let's see what happens here. Let me see if I can catch him in another lie. And that's how women operate, because they don't want just one piece of evidence. They want to corroborate the whole fucking Hallmark movie. You know what I'm saying? So
They want to know
everything. They want
Can
it.
I look?
Yeah.
Can I overlook this, or can I go and live in this big beautiful house with that big
Right.
new cars and go to
While I
Paris,
wait to entrap him in another lie, I'll drive a free car and eat free. You know what I'm
Maybe
saying?
I go to Paris while we're waiting, while I figure it out. Like, yeah.
I'm in no hurry. Right. Exactly.
So Dave's got some messages. We've got a couple messages here. Let me go back up to James' message where she said, I don't care. And that was when we were talking about the tracker.
I'm hot.
Yeah,
Good
she doesn't
fault.
care.
Good.
I don't know what she meant there. I'm hot. His fault probably is
I
what
think
she meant. Yeah.
Something about being hot.
And this is
Yes.
thank you, sweetheart. That was from Dave for not doing a background check on me before we started dating.
No, I didn't have to. He
I'm
told
not a
me. For real.
You're not a bad boy.
I'm not a bad
boys
boy,
for
but-
life.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine. I'm not, and then here we go. We've got another one here. Hey, you sound so much like Sam's ex-husband when he said, "I'm not a bad boy. Don't point me through. Don't put."
Point at me
Words-
though.
It's hard,
Bitch.
bitches.
Don't point at me though,
Because
bitch.
I'll totally prove you wrong,
He's
but
a
I'll
bad
do
boy
it
now.
in the background. I know people. That's we'll have to
Damn.
say
Oh,
that
he swings a big stick but walks silently.
exactly.
And then
He almost totally got blocked from Facebook by telling AC to not point at him, bitch.
Stop pointing at me, bitch. See, get into a slap fight. Stop.
Have you seen that shit on fucking YouTube and Facebook?
I love it. Oh,
It's
slap
like
this
the,
thing?
The,
I
the
love it.
bitches like slapping each other.
Oh, the girls are the best, dude. The girls
Dude.
are the best because they don't even flinch. They're
No.
sociopaths. The chicks, they're like, just like right there. Just
Yep.
ready.
They're
The
like,
Russian
nope.
bitches. Yeah. Oh, what? Have you seen this, Tiffy?
Have you seen the slap competitions?
Yeah, my daughter's been
Yeah.
showing. My daughter showed me one the other day, actually.
People fuck themselves up and they get knocked out and it's like, whoa. It's so cool.
I
so cool.
can't do it.
So now
Anyway,
we're at now. At what point are we on?
We're not looking at houses.
We're not looking at houses. They're still in the same
So-
place.
Let's fast forward through the
Yeah.
holidays. And let's fast forward to February of 2021.
February.
February.
So,
Remind everybody right now, just to let you guys know, she is on TikTok and on YouTube. It's like 53 parts to this story on her side and only a one part to him on YouTube. You can find him on YouTube too.
Yeah, it's a podcast that is mostly him jabbering and the guy asking like 5 questions throughout the whole 2
I
hours.
thought he
and
did.
39
I thought he did a
minutes.
great job, though. I thought he did a great job. If
No, he
if you're gonna
did.
bury,
No,
bury
honestly-
yourself. Bury yourself.
But
He
please
did.
go back
He'd
and listen
ask
to
him
him.
questions to reiterate like something he said. The podcaster guy did a really good job in question asking because he
That's
was
okay.
like, "So you said this?" and like question mark, like I don't believe you. And
like,
he went off
"Oh."
on these whole tangents of shit.
Yeah,
Very
he would be
silly.
asked a pointed question. Who is this person? This person was said you talked to him 3 or 4 times a week. You had
Mhm.
physical conversations that she was a part of by proxy. Who is this
Mhm.
person? That
And
guy's been dead
trust
since
me.
2008. How did she, like? This is not a person I take that would be like, you know who I'm going to lie about? Junebug. You know, like it just doesn't
My
make sense.
suggestion to everybody, please listen to her story first
Background check
and
all.
then go back, listen to his story,
Yes.
and then make your decision in your own opinion. But for me, I had to go back because the day that we got it last week, it was before our show. Let's listen to bits and clips here and there. But I believe before that, I told Sam, I said, you know what? There's just something about this. I don't. Her story just doesn't. It seems too. The way she plays it just seems so like, like a book. Like you're reading a book.
She tells a good story. We're
Like
not
a
used to
good story.
we're not used to good narrative, like good.
Well, that's
before
the
there was
thing
tele-
too, that this format of TikTok video has never been done before. They're saying this is something she's pioneered. This is a new thing we're seeing.
the 10-minute
they-
the 10-minute segment. Yeah. Mhm.
And not just a 10-minute segment, but like you don't have to look at your screen for this. You can listen to it like an audio book. And
That's
it's
true.
honestly, it's taken the platform by storm. We're seeing there was storytelling on TikTok before, yes, but the platform now has just taken off. We're finding more and more.
If I could be honest, I found it hard to watch in the fifth going into the 5th hour. I'm like, Wow. She's, can I see a pretty girl somewhere? Can I see
By
like
that
a girl,
time
maybe like
too,
a
it's
girl?
almost like we sort of know where this is going at this point. Like we sort of know where it's going to end, and like you're kind of hoping for some kind of big thing to happen. But like, I guess, yeah, I don't know. That's sort of how I felt too by the time you start getting through it.
I do, in speaking of it that way, I do feel like at the end, she did wrap it all up very well. I mean,
Yes.
I think, I don't know if I
mean,
don't know her
after
thought
she
behind
said that
this.
her husband got a hand job, like how well can you well, I'm reading that he got a hand job and he asked for the cheapest thing possible. So even when he goes to cheat on me, he's a cheap ass.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
But the way she wrapped up the whole thing and was like, here's what I found out. I spoke with his brother. I blah blah blah. I
Ex-wife,
think that
brother,
ex-wife, brother, whatever.
aunt.
I feel like she was very good, and I don't know how long. I mean, she's been thinking about this for a few years. Obviously, everything ended in 2021.
I mean,
But I think she's been finding things out. But
a narrative class in college, if you take a narrative class, like you go up to a certain point in a story in like a segment, and then you kind of like cliffhang that, and then you come back and you're like, well, let
but
me
did
tell
she
you how
take
that all
that
started.
narrative class? I don't think she did.
I don't know. She's
my
good though.
my point is she did a very good job of.
You think somebody was in on it, like helping her?
No, I think maybe my thought is maybe she's been thinking about this for years because it's, hell hath no fury, right? As a woman's born.
Hear me out.
So
Hear me out.
on TikTok,
He's telling the truth about everything.
The TikTok
No.
rules on getting monetized have recently changed, and you're
Yeah.
currently allowed to monetize 60 videos a month, right? So 52 and 60, those are kind of close numbers. So she had recently joined a TikTok program that they pay
It was
for
a
up
beta
to 60
program.
videos.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
but she actually
Oh,
did
smart.
get kicked out from the program during this time because you're not allowed to repost. And she reposted because she wanted her entire story to go up there. So she did join a program and then perhaps thought this was the story that was going to help her take off, which it did because she wasn't viral before this. And I think by the time she got booted out of the program, she must have just thought like, oh, well, I'm booted out. I may as well keep telling my story because it has become cathartic and whatnot. And there are
That's
other
definitely
women that are
addictive,
coming
yeah.
out and telling their story now too, which has become fun and fascinating as well.
It's like a whole like me
Well,
too too. Me too too. Me too.
Well, it is
too.
very cathartic to say this is this has happened to me, and I know it's happened to somebody else. We may have not had the exact same experience, but let's do this. But I mean, I don't know.
It's not a normalized. First of all, Jamie, the more I fester, the worse. I can relate to that. I want to squash. If we're in a fight, I want to squash it as fast as possible. I'm going to chase you around the house, and I'm like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I want to stop, and then the other person's like, I just need a minute, and I'm the guy that's like, I can't give you that minute. You might.
I'm the
leave
one
me.
who's like,
right?
Yeah, I'm the one who's
right.
picking at it. Dave's the one who needs to think.
Right.
I
And
get
then,
it.
and then secondly, so Dave says, I'm curious now that y'all have listened to both sides, which side do you fall on? There's only one side, the side of reason, truth, corroboration, and research. The other guy is just like, hey, did you do this? And the guy's like, no.
No.
Well, at the end of the day, with any situation, there's always his side, her side. Truth is usually somewhere in the middle. But I do think it's a little bit closer to Risa at this stage, possibly.
More to her. I think
I mean,
maybe
she talked to people in the family. She answered the questions.
She's
asked
spoken
about
to the
family.
ex-wife.
She found out who was dead. Even
and
the
who
aunt,
wasn't.
The aunt that lived in Decatur, Georgia, the one that they went to go visit once, the only person that she went to go visit.
Who's not?
Because the two sisters that said that lived there do not exist. He made up people. Whole ass
the
people
auntie that thought that their child was still alive and they had a child.
Yes.
Not the aunt. He's not right. She's not the aunt. She ended up being like the best friend of the mom.
Best friend of the mom, which as a child you would call an aunt, right?
How's the baby?
I mean,
how's the baby? What baby? The dead baby?
So let's fast forward to where she
not on purpose.
Let's fast forward to where she becomes the FBI, the detective.
You don't want to have a part 3.
To start going, because I want to get to Legion's side. I want to hear.
It will be 5 seconds. It'll be 5 seconds.
But please listen to his side because you'll get a whole, because this is what I said in the beginning. I haven't heard his side until
I have.
Sam sent it to us, and then we all listened to it, and that was one of my biggest thing. I want to hear his side too.
Me too. I want to hear a fifth grader
and
talk
now-
to me. I want to hear a fifth grader explain to me geometry is basically what that.
But we
what
didn't
that
know
thing is.
that though. Remember, we didn't know that. We didn't know that this is how he was. We only heard 53 parts of just her speaking. And
This is why I love Rose.
Well, before Legion even released his part,
She's not jaded. She's not like
his first wife's son and his first wife had both come out with a story too before any of the interviews as well. So there was there was almost sort of that reiteration at that point as well, which was interesting to follow. And then there was his original rebuttal videos where he was like, "Tell the truth. We all know I walked in on you and Bradley."
Oh, I love how we flipped the script of
Bradley.
her
You pick up the most generic white guy name. Bradley.
Him and his ex-wife broke up for the same reason, or something.
Right. I mean,
well, let's tell the
that's
audience
how it happens. Because
let's
nobody
tell the audience about the stripper and the $20 thing. Let's recap that part.
So when did that come in? I forgot to put a date on that.
So that happened shortly. Oh no! So the hooker Peaches. That was after the that was after the sexting thing. And if you believe what Legion says,
which I don't.
Here's what Legion said about the whole thing. His whole company they had work iPhones, and he picked up his buddy's iPhone. And his buddy picked up his because none of them had passwords. Because why the fuck would you put a password on a work phone? That makes no fucking sense. So when his knee was fucking hurting and whatever, and he's in the bed, crying about his knee.
Which he said he never had. He said he never had that pain.
I know, but I mean, hence the reason she had his fucking phone. He said, for one, the work phones had no, but then he said, within the same breath, well, she had all my passwords to both of my phones. The work phone, but then he said the
homeboy put the iCloud in the wrong phone, right? That's like
no. He said they took different phones. They swapped them one night, and that's the miraculous night that she started to snoop through his phone.
Right, and then the facial recognition worked and everything.
Right. There's no passwords on the phone, but yet she had his passwords. And then he said he even went to his buddy at work saying, "Bud, you shouldn't text hookers on the phone because they have that in the cloud." And then he also went on to say that
never text a hooker on your iCloud.
He had met Peaches in the parking lot to tell her to get away from his buddy at work. This is what he said. She was like, "Okay, so he's
hooker, I promise."
Yeah, I mean, like, oh my god. I mean, he
solicit sex.
So he literally was like, what had happened was, anytime you start a sentence with what had happened was, you're fucking lying.
Craig went down to the thing, right? And then I got the iCloud, but I took his phone home.
But it was not my phone, but it was his, but blah, blah, blah.
I love you.
No. And then, so then she sees, they're talking prices, they're talking whatever. And then
how much is a hand job, which is like the cheapest thing you can ever ask a hooker.
Why the fuck would you even ask that if you're fucking talking to a hooker?
How much is anal? How much is
I think we need a
cream pie?
We need a hand job.
Who pays for a fucking hand job? Give it to yourself.
That's like going to Gucci and saying like, how much are those socks? I just want one sock.
You know what I mean?
We need a shot for that.
How much is that keychain, for Pete's sakes?
Exactly.
I think we need a shot for that at the hand job moment.
My name is Peaches, and I'm the best. All the DJs want to feel my breath.
That's what I'm saying.
My name is Peaches.
That's the Fat Boys.
Yeah, I think we need a shot for this one.
I gotta. She was like,
I'm running for my life. I'm running for my life.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for that.
And I want to remind everybody, Tiff is on the other side of the world for us. She's in Australia, so it is very early.
Morning time for her.
We'll take a coffee shot.
I'll get on the hard stuff, some water.
Or the water.
That's even better.
Water for us, staying hydrated for us.
She's saving our livers, one drink at a time.
Everybody out there, please make sure to have your shot glasses and cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
If you want to hang out with us and learn shit, you better get drunk.
Yeah.
If not, you're not cool.
It's like drunk history, only it's drunk whatever.
But it's our own traumas coming up.
Yes.
We have a show here called Horrible Histories. It's actually hilarious. So it's like they tell the truth about history in the funniest way. It is a kid's
it's the
show,
best.
but the adults quite enjoy it.
Drunk History is
that.
probably one of my favorite shows. How they like reenacted it with the hiccups and everything. It was like, and then I would love to tell the story. I would love to be the guy in the Shea Lounge.
I want to. So way back 8 years ago, when I first met Dave, he showed me and my best friend Skylar Drunk History, and we're like, we want to do this. Only we're going to be two drunk girls give advice.
Oh, that's great.
I'll have to show you some of those videos. They're fucking hilarious. I've made them private on YouTube because it's the same.
Awesome.
They're fucking hilarious.
Unprivatized.
Yeah, I want to do that. I'm like, fucking let me do this.
Oh my God.
We thought we were going to make a shit ton of money.
Hi, calling in for the first time. I have a micro penis and my wife is a size queen.
Here's what happened in the early days. Dave would be like, I'm Bob calling in from Saskatchewan, Idaho. He'd make up he'd make up fake places, and he'd be like, how do I be a cool guy?
How do I touch a boob?
My friend Skylar and I were like, move out of your mom's basement. We did a whole bunch of shit about that. But I mean, he would make up stupid questions, and we thought we were going to be famous. But but now we do this.
We do something.
And we are going to be famous.
I'm famous in other ways.
Now we actually put actual shows together.
And please like and subscribe. Make sure you're
following
all of us. That would be great.
Follow Roses Are Red, Midnight Media, and Married Couple Podcast. I couldn't even remember my own.
And then yours. Anal is way too much unless it's from a dude named Peaches. Peaches. Tonight your name is Peaches.
Peaches.
And don't forget, who's coming with me?
Oh, yes. Yeah. We'll have to get back to that at some point.
Yes. Okay, so we fast forward a little bit. We've gotten to where
he got married.
He got married. They had they still have no children. They had no children throughout this whole
they do. I mean, they have a dead one.
R.I.P.
I
think we broke Tiffy there.
Keep sitting. Okay. So they're married.
I will be right back.
They're living together. He's sick with a sore knee, and we don't know what's going on. He's sleeping downstairs because he can't even get up the stairs. Is that right?
Yes.
And she's gone through his phone and on this magical day, it's apparently not his phone, and he's texting Peaches.
Yeah. How much? How much is a hand job for you to put your hand on me in a parking lot with a wife at home?
Definitely. So okay, so we're that. He's texting Peaches now.
Yeah, I like Peaches.
We're telling her side first, and then we'll go into his side. So she finds about Peaches. She talks to the ex-wife. She does that.
Yes, confronting people. She's finding family members like.
She's talking
saying that they're talking to you every day, and they're like saying that we haven't spoken in years. Things like this.
That guy's dead.
He's lying about his ex-wife's daughter. He didn't need the money from her, but he's asked for permission to send his ex-wife $2,000 because her daughter's died and she needs it for the funeral.
Her daughter. He said that his ex-wife's daughter died of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when she had the wife on there, she goes, "Before we hang up, how's your daughter?" And she goes, "My daughter's fine." Like right there, could you imagine like the boom that hits you right there? It's like everything is a lie.
The ex-wife goes, "Why did he say something about my daughter? Did he?"
Yeah.
She's like, no,
and she didn't have the heart to say anything. She didn't have the heart to say that. Like, she said,
"Yeah, I would have done it. I would have done it because you know what? I know that you went through your. This might sound harsh, but I need to cope the way I got to cope, and you got to know." Like what he said, like I think it was his service because it pulls back how sadistic he is because it's not really giving the full picture. I'd be like, no, he told me while your daughter lives and breathes that she was dead, and I had to finance her, so you can understand the depths of depravity of this man. That's what I would have done.
Okay, at that moment in
I'm
time,
sorry that you're hurt.
on the phone, would you, I mean, for me, I think I would take her side. I'd be like, I wouldn't have the heart to say that to a mother.
There's
This
no
woman's already escaped him, like she's like I'm calling up
Look,
my current
your daughter's
partner's
alive.
ex-wife. I don't want to add to the trauma that she's already gone through, that she's possibly already
But
covered
she's
from.
passed.
Like,
Your daughter's alive.
I might say it on accident and then rethink it later and be like, I don't know if I really needed to say
He said he was
that.
dead.
But
What? What'd you say? Nothing.
I would have not.
not.
I would have been like her. There's a lot of things that
You would have lied.
listening to it, and I would have just, you know what, this woman's already at peace. She's
That's
already
not my
moved on.
not my
She's
position
already
to keep you at
gone.
peace. That's not my job.
Yeah,
my
but
job
you
is
know
to
what?
now it's my skin against your skin.
I guess it
You've
really
already done it.
depends on how emotional you're feeling in the time. If you're like frantic, yeah, you might say it. But if you're like calm enough to think, it's not even important, really.
Right. And just let the pieces come together like a puzzle. Like there's something about just sitting by and going, you know.
My question to you, Tiff,
Yeah.
would you have done everything? Would you have waited? Two questions. Would you have waited this long to find out the truth of everything she's gone through? You know, if you were in her shoes, would you have waited this long?
How do you know what you don't know, though? You know what I'm saying? Like you can't even know.
I would hope not.
There's a lot of,
but I've been in a really narcissistic, weird relationship before for like quite a number of years. And looking back, I can't believe how many things that I overlooked in that sense. So I think now being more knowledgeable on how, control abuse, financial control and abuse.
Even how it starts, right?
Exactly. Now that I'm more aware of it, I would hope that I would never, but to be honest, in the past, I've been a victim too. So it's hard
But it's
to
also
say.
being jaded, Rose. Like you're also jaded.
Now-
Like now you think that everybody's an essayer, and now that's called being jaded. That's like, oh
You
my
know what,
God,
it is
I
true.
look at the world cynically because I know that one guy exists. So all of these men have to be the same. And now
And you know what?
you can't have a normal relationship.
I trust you. And on that, okay, because of my past from being with the person I was with, my ex-husband, and what I gone through with him, and there's things that it was crazily insane that people would be like, "What the fuck was wrong with you? Like, why didn't you run?"
It's so clear from the outside, but when you're up front, it's like not so clear.
It's different.
You're too close to it.
And for me, for what it took for me to say, you know what, enough is enough, for me was when it wasn't so much about me, because you know what, you could do whatever you want. You can break me, you can do whatever you want. But
Just
when
don't
it
touch
came
my
to my
kids. My kids.
when you touched my daughter and definitely did that to her, did what he did to her, that to me was like,
wasn't that his daughter too?
Final straw.
it was his daughter. But when he, I mean, who physically hurts your daughter?
I mean,
because she can't get her ABCs down right.
If you're willing to cross that line, there's no
I
line.
mean, Selena, did you fucking learn your ABCs? Like, did you learn your lessons? Like, like let's fucking learn your ABCs so daddy doesn't have to hit you. Like, I don't want to have to hit you. You know what I mean? Like, you do this to yourselves, right, ladies?
But that to me was
fault.
the end of the straw. To me, that was the end of the straw. You know, and one day I will share my story about what had happened between us, because it was 9 years of a long story. I don't hate him. I don't. He had a lot of mental
9-part podcast, 9 different days.
You should do it on TikTok.
Every day
and then we'll deep dive into your TikTok.
9 a.m. had a bagel. 9:05. He hit me.
You know, but I don't, you know, we have different upbringings. You know, I come from a different background. He comes from a different background. He suffered when, you know, with
does he come from a place where hitting a woman's okay? What nation is that?
I think he did. I didn't get it. I to be honest with you,
he comes from the land of you deserved it.
Yeah, and you know what? For a long time, I'm gonna tell you, for a long time, I thought that that's how life. Because I married him at young. I was very young when I married him, and I thought that was normal.
You thought everybody got hit?
First boyfriend. I thought, you know, he was my first everything. So I thought for me that was normal. It was normal to have that type of relationship. Because
how many times did your husband hit you today?
If you're anything like me, the first time I was in an abusive relationship, I never thought that the guy that was abusing me would, because he said he loved me.
But see, I thought when I got with him, mind you, I'm the only girl, and I never had a boyfriend. I wasn't allowed to date. I wasn't allowed to do things. So when I got with him,
What a
he was
huge disservice, right? Not letting you
I
date and
thought
experience
that
the
that
world.
was I thought that was how it was supposed to be a relationship. But I mean, I've never seen my mom and dad have a beautiful relationship. I've never seen my mom and dad ever argue, ever.
You've
And
never
they've been
even
So why
together.
did you think that was
They-
normal
They have
then?
a bedroom. They have a bedroom. They can go argue there.
In my head, because of the way he was, the narcissist, the way he was, that was normal.
What was he like, your
You
dad?
know,
'Cause-
because he would do things, and then he'd be like, "I'm so sorry. That's not how I meant.
Well, she wouldn't have been able to
maybe
fathom that
Classic.
people didn't mean what they went. Like, especially if she saw her parents in a beautiful relationship, like
Right.
that's what you perceive as a normal relationship. And then
Mhm.
when somebody's behaving otherwise, but saying that they want to be the perfect way, like you have to believe them because that's what you know. Like you don't
Right. Yeah.
believe that
Yeah.
craziness exists.
My
or
wife
that
comes from her parents were still
I
together like
mean,
forever. She comes from a perfect
yeah.
home, like a perfect home. And the way I came up was completely like broken modern family, like crazy. I only have 3 people in her family. Like she has a vast ocean of like support and help and like people that her village of many aunts and I can't even fathom having a big family or calling like someone and being like, hey
I mean,
cousin. It's not like everybody has a different upbringing. And could you
dynamic.
I mean,
imagine
I
being
had
in
a
a bubble?
beautiful upbringing. I had a beautiful
Did you? Because
upbringing.
then later on, you didn't know how to,
I
you know what I'm
did.
saying? Like,
When I was a child, I had a very beautiful upbringing. My mom and dad, they're always with me, especially with the family that took us in. There's a long story there. We'll go into it on another day. I had a very beautiful upbringing. When I met my ex-husband, mind you, my whole family was against him.
but they taught you nothing of the world. You had a
One, because
beautiful,
he was older.
you had a beautiful relationship, like beautiful upbringing,
But
but like you weren't
but
prepared for
remember,
this
let me
guy.
tell
Agreed.
you,
I understand where you're coming from, Rose. I do.
when they tell you, you know what, oh, he's horrible. What are you going to do as a child? They say, you know what, here's a lollipop, but you can't have it. That's bad for you. Blah 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 blah. You're going to want it more, right?
Mhm.
You're going to say, you know what, I want it. My family was
Until your
like, you
teeth
know what,
fall
it's
out.
not good for
Until your
you.
teeth fall out, and then you're like, oh, I
But
shouldn't
guess what?
have all of this.
It's a lesson that you would learn later on in life because
But
you're
how
not
many
going to fall
teeth?
out right
How
then
many
and there.
teeth did you need to fall out before you were like, maybe I should rethink that? You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
9 years. It took 9 years later for those teeth to all fall out for me to realize that,
And
you
was
know
anybody
what?
ever telling you, don't you leave him? Don't you leave
AC,
him?
can I ask, have you ever
Mm.
been in a relationship where you've been manipulated and
Yeah.
all? Okay.
So much so that I completely changed after that and started this like self protection thing because I was so shattered to bits and pieces because I couldn't believe that someone who loved me like that would do something like that
I
to me.
agree.
And
Right.
I was like, that's it. I can't be the guy I was because no one will ever respect you.
Okay.
You can't let them see you cry. You have
That's
to
what
be
got you
like that.
forward upon.
And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the humor thing and like any serious thing
You
comes up,
develop
it's always a
defense
fucking joke.
mechanisms
Of course.
and things.
Yeah,
So you
'cause I'm broken.
understand where she's coming from, correct?
Yes, but
Okay.
but the world doesn't work that way in general. You know, I'm not mad at her. I'm
But
just
for a
like,
lot
No,
of
I'm just asking. I'm just saying.
and I'm mad at her
Um,
parents for not preparing her for a crazy guy.
let's
You know
be
what I mean?
real. My parents have been together. They just hit 50 years in February, right? They fought, but they weren't. Neither of them were manipulative or abusive. It was just, I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna. It was funny. My dad would try to make jokes and throw a fucking sponge, and we were like, "What are you doing?" You know what I mean? However,
Sure.
when I got into my first abusive relationship, and don't get me wrong, it took me a while to figure out how to not be in one. Um, if somebody told me, because of the great bringing up that I had, if somebody told me they love me, I never thought they had any nefarious uh, or ill
But they
will
didn't
towards
Like
mean
me.
otherwise. There was no possible.
lies were not on your
It
radar.
it
Like
didn't
no one
and
can lie.
no, it just it fucking took me by fucking surprise, and all of a sudden this dude's fucking pinching me and punching me and, like, bending my fingers back underneath tables because I made him look stupid. You know what I mean? I think, Rose, you can agree where
absolutely agree.
Totally.
it happens, it just creeps up on you, and you're like,
It's
"What the
not
fuck?
like
I
it.
don't understand why this is happening. You said you love me."
It's not
So
like it happens
how many
one day
times
to the next. Like
how many times do
it's a
those fingers need to
slow
be bent
process.
before you go?
oh,
But
I mean, I left, but it took a while.
But here's the thing. They are so good to shelter you from your family, your friends, but
That's what they
everything
do.
takes
They're
a
like,
process to the point where when you realize it, you have nobody in your corner.
There's no support system
You
left.
and you feel the fault for it.
Yeah, you're always
You
at
feel
fault.
the fault for it because you feel like I'm the
Should've been better.
I'm the asshole who hasn't gone to my parents. I'm the asshole who hasn't gone to my best friend. I'm the
In
asshole.
some cases too, like your friends hold you at fault, for example, like, you know, every time
Right.
you come over there's a drama, even though obviously, like, if I was
Mhm.
at a friend's house alone it'd be fine, but when my partner's there is a drama because my partner's the drama. So that way, you know, you have your closest
Am I the
friends sort
drama?
of turn on you as well. Yeah, exactly. And then you've got other
It's like they
people
fucking
reiterating
is.
what your abuser is telling you, and it just becomes like,
And it's
And-
not even that they're actually reiterating what they're telling you. I mean, it's like they're seeing what your abuser is doing and they're like, "Hey, you shouldn't do this." And they're like,
they're manipulating what your
So-
friends have said to work against you.
But I'm
and stuff.
confused. I'm confused about something, and this is just opening conversation, right? So
yes.
you were both raised by both parents. Your fathers were both present. They
Mhm.
showed you what it was to be a man, a respected man, and none of it ever entailed getting hurt, telling you horrible things, demeaning you. At what point did you say, like, this guy's not like my dad? Like,
Hold on.
that's a good man versus this is being a bad man. You know what I mean?
But
I
here's-
can't say what I want to say right now. I should
But
say
but
what I wanna say.
okay, for me, here's the thing.
Like, this isn't a good man. It can't be. Like, my dad's a good
For
man.
me, I was, for one, I was 17. For two, my parents and my brothers were like, "Look, he's an older man. This is not what we agree with. This is not what we, you know what I mean?" They did sit me down, but I was like, "Fuck that. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want."
But
who
you
are
didn't have a
to
choice.
Tell me.
So they set
Who are
you up
you
with
to
a
tell me?
40-year-old guy, a 40-year-old difference guy, right?
They
Who
didn't set
doesn't
me
e-
up because I
You're-
found him. I found him. I searched. Okay. So I met my ex-husband. He worked at a video store, kind of like Blockbuster. If everybody remembers Blockbuster. God, I'm so old.
He worked at Blockbuster and he was rich.
It was like Blockbuster, but he was in
Is he the manager?
he was in the military back then.
It
Military, and he, you know, that's you know, it was in my hometown, where I lived, and that's how I met him. I met him there. I was like, oh my god, this is the most, you know, attractive man I've ever met. I was 17. You're 17 when a guy bats your eyes.
And he was how old?
A lot older than me. We won't say we're a lot older than me.
No, let's just say
40 years your senior,
older. So
He was, well, at that time I was 17. He was in his
which is illegal
30s,
because you're 17.
and my parents were very against it.
Yeah.
So, a week prior, I moved to his hometown and got married right before my birthday, and that's
Despite your family.
Yeah, you know, and that's me. That was me.
To stick it to
my-
him. To stick it to
here's
him,
the
but in the
thing.
end, you're the one that paid the price.
But remember, he would tell me, you know what, your family doesn't want us to be together. Your family doesn't want this, and your
That's
you're a
what a
dick.
narcissist
Because you're a
does.
fucking dick. Yeah, because
you know,
yeah,
They-
because you're not
17. What don't you believe at 17?
They
At
put those
17,
wedges, and you were young and impressionable. I mean,
I was like, oh my god, he's in the military, and you know, he's got a house.
150
I think
years
you
ago,
have
a
a type,
17-year-old girl had 3 kids
do.
and was
Rose,
a
I think
mom.
you have a type.
You know what I mean? You know,
I do. I have a thing for men in uniform. Okay, I'm gonna just say that out there.
Yep.
I do think you have a fucking type.
You know, and we went through a lot, but it took a good 2 years for him to manipulate me in the way he wanted to, because I was
groom you.
17. They groom you. They tell you, you know what, your family doesn't want you with me. We're the best thing. We should be together.
I'm
Hi, Mom,
looking
do
out
you
for
want-
you.
Hi,
I've got
Mom,
your
why
best
don't you want me to
interest
be
at
with
heart.
him?
And you know what? Slowly, because I stopped talking to my mom, we moved to another state.
That's what they
That's
do.
how, and
You
that's
know,
how
I
much
moved
you
to
loved him.
Wyoming, I
You
moved
love that man
to-
enough to excommunicate your whole family.
and
I would
was
never love anyone like that.
17 at that
Casey.
time. You when you're at 17,
I was
and
17
you're-
once.
Okay, but
AC,
when
you
you're
had said you have been in a relationship like that,
Yeah, that changed me completely.
right?
But it
did
didn't
the
take me
person you
9
were
years.
with-
It didn't take me 9 years to figure it out.
Hold
That's what
on.
I'm trying to get to.
Okay, I feel like you're. I love you, but what I'm saying is I don't think you understand some of
If
the.
we all agreed, this would be
intricacies.
boring.
I know. I feel like you don't understand some of the intricacies of the abuse, where it's whittling away and it's small at first. You know what I mean? It's like
Sure.
They chip
It's
you.
also made to feel
Like,
like, you can't survive on your own if you're to leave, like nobody
yes.
else is going to want you. You're not going to be able to provide for yourself financially or whatever the case is. These other things also come
And
into it too. And
Are
not
your
to sound
is your
sexist or
family
anything, but I
ever
do feel like that
calling
as a
you?
woman, it's a little
Okay.
bit heavier of a burden.
Let's say you do talk to your family and they say like, hey, you can leave him, you can do, like, and they do offer
of
support,
course they say
but you
that.
With
They say that.
conditions,
but you
usually
still
though, and
won't.
that's also scary. You're like, usually if you're in, say, an abusive situation and you reach out to a family, like, I don't mind if you stay, but obviously he's not going to be able to come, and then you can't guarantee that because he's going to stalk you or you've got a trauma bond and blah blah blah, and then things happen, and then your family's not going to let you stay with them anymore, and then you end up trapped. I remember once when I left my abuser, we were broken up, we were separated. I had my own house. And then I just had trouble getting a new house. And then we ended up living together again
Wow.
because
How
I was
did that happen?
struggling. I was struggling. I had no friends that like left to support me. I had a bad record history from when we lived together and he left holes in the house. I couldn't get a rental. My only option left at that point was homelessness on the street or living with him again. So, these things happen. Like,
And for
That's
me, it
that's
was
a hard choice.
more
And
at
maybe
one
there's
point.
a difference between being a male and a female, and I'm not trying to bring that up, but I think that do you guys
You
agree?
realize
I mean,
you realize I love you all, but if
I know.
I have to throw these wrenches, if not, we wouldn't get
No,
into
and
compelling
I
conversation.
understand. No, I understand that, but I
It's an act to make
It's
you do
I'm
hard.
that.
having a hard time articulating how I want
Yeah.
to what
Yeah.
I want to say here.
For
I'm
me, it
I'm
was
being a victim blamer. I'm being a victim blamer, right? Like,
no, no, no.
and
But
like,
you're not, because
how
you've
could it
been
be?
a victim.
Because you're looking at a different point of view, and this is what we love about this podcast, because we have
The same
your
way
point of view.
a teacher can SA a 13-year-old if the roles were reversed, gender, like we're high-fiving, like, man, I wish I had that teacher. And then if it's the roles were
I
reversed,
think my
that guy's
sister
getting
is saying it
35
okay
years.
here.
You know?
I think my sister said, I called my daddy when I was being abused, and then I called him and I said I was being dramatic. So the person who's abusing you says, call him back and say, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I was just doing this.
That was the happiest. That was like, you're like,
But
everything's
the
fine.
abuser says, call them back and say, no, I didn't mean that.
That's so
Like
suspicious.
I'm being
As your dad,
dramatic.
I'd be like, she's in trouble.
And then,
She's in trouble.
but no.
No.
But then they go, but they want to believe you, right? I mean,
I was
they
just kidding
do.
about all
It's
that stuff I just said. You know what I mean? Like,
For me, it was different. For me, my ex would be like, you know what, you're isolated. You're not allowed to talk about.
That's what they do. They isolate.
They make you to your friends that your friends are your enemies. And then you slowly stop talking to your friends. Then it goes to your family. Okay, I've worked on your friends. Now we go to the family. Let's start chipping them to the point where you lose yourself completely and you're at their mercy. You're like, I can't go off on my own because I'm dependent on him.
well,
Even though
You
you
feel
might have a job,
worthless?
even though you have a job.
issue,
because I had a job.
the issue is
Me too.
financial, right? The
No,
issue is
because
like,
I had
No,
a job.
it's not.
No, I had a job. I had
I was the
3
one
jobs.
being
Same
the
here.
financial supporter here.
I was the one that I supported him. Because he wanted to go to, back to school, I support him. But let me tell you, they chip you away to the point where you lose yourself, to the point where you feel like, one, either you've gained too much weight, you don't look very good, you can't do anything, you ain't gonna get nobody. You know what I
Yes.
mean? To the point where, and when you have kids, you've got baggage.
well, a narcissist also
nobody's gonna
knows how
want
to play on your insecurities. Like a good narcissist will know what your insecurities
Absolutely.
are and hold
And
that
I also
and be like,
believe
looking kind
intergenerational
of fat
trauma
today,
comes into it, to be honest.
right?
Like,
Absolutely. They're
intergenerationally speaking, women have been provided for, and it was expected for us to leave the home into a man's house. So
Right.
I really do think that plays a part in it, well, because that's the way it's been for
Certainly,
a long time.
certainly. But there's a
Eons.
difference, I think,
Yes.
between there being a tradition where you must go, like, some cultures are like arranged marriages. Like,
I
it
mean,
doesn't matter who you marry. That guy is the,
He's
the chieftain's. So yeah,
Even-
that's good for our family. You got to go marry him. Sorry, that's just what it is.
even after, okay, let me tell you, even after I was divorced, I was remarrying my husband. The day that I remarried my husband, my ex-husband called the limo company to cancel our limo and had someone else bring out a limo to where I was at with a box saying, "Come with me, don't choose him. I still love you." The day I was getting married to my the day to my husband now. That's how much of a narcissist. He would always tell me every year
He
in
shot his last
July.
shot. He shot his last shot.
No. It wasn't even his last. Every year in July for his birthday, because his birthday is July 3rd, he would send me a key to a hotel to meet him there, even after I was already married.
Imagine having the small dick energy of sending your ex-wife, like, it's still about you. Like,
it is.
And
it's
his
never
whole
ever going to be about
absolute
you.
narcissism.
How can you
of
come
it.
to me?
I mean,
Come to me. Like,
And his whole thing was
my
when we went to court and we filed for divorce was because he told the judge, the reason why I spite her so much is because, one, she didn't come back crawling to me. She didn't cry. She didn't do this. She didn't, you know what I mean? Because at that point I was like, you hurt
you
my
showed
kid.
too much backbone. No, too
You
much
hurt
backbone.
my kid.
Yeah.
And that was it for me. The minute you hurt my kid, to me, that was like, it's not about me anymore. It's about, I
right.
got to protect
It-
somebody else.
I think that's what does it for us, right? As
Mhm.
anyone, if you're hurting somebody that, um, well, I mean, I left my first husband because he was being abusive, and I was afraid I was going to lose the baby. I was pregnant with her. Yeah, I mean, it was 24 years ago, and I was like, no, we are not going to do this. You know what I mean? And that gave me the strength to leave. Still, then he found me at my parents' house and locked the door, and my uncles had to come save me from it. Right? I mean, it was insane. But
But then after that, so let's put a pin in that. So after that, your uncles knew what kind of crazy person they were
oh,
dealing with, right?
I
So
had
that has
left
to
him
end.
already.
That has
Yes.
to end at one point, right? Like for
However,
example,
they
I'm not
still
saying you guys, but I'm saying in general, like this lesson can only happen once, right? Like the
no.
second guy couldn't possibly abuse, like, you know, the signs, right? Like, you know,
You think you do?
You think you do,
And
but you
that's the other
don't.
thing
Because
too.
let me
So
tell
some
you,
people fall into like a really, really super heavy abusive relationship. And then let's say they're in a physical abusively relationship. And then they go and fall into a narcissistic, mental, emotional, like, and they're like, oh, it's not as bad as,
right? A love bombing one where,
I'd
like,
rather I would
or
at least
rather
you love.
somebody
because
fucking
it
hit me
happens
than
so
fucking
slowly,
mentally
you
abuse
just end
me.
up being, how did this even happen again? Like, it doesn't
Mhm.
happen like that. Like, it's like the frog in the boiling water. Like, if you put a
Yeah,
frog in cold water, it's not going to notice. It's exactly like that. And
cutting his own
furthermore,
carrots.
when you jump out of the pot, there's fire there. It always gets a little bit worse when you first leave. So that's the other thing too. Like, you leave them and then they're fighting you more to come back to control the situation. When they can't control you, they start controlling the other people around you and how they are seeing you. And then it's like, do I just give up and give in and go back to this guy because what was happening before wasn't as
But
bad as
why
it
do we
is
feel
now?
like that's the only? Why do we feel like that's the only person? And it's not. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just asking a question out loud. What makes you? What gives you the impression that that's the only person that can love you?
Because they've
That's
made
part of
you
the
feel
trauma
that
they've
way.
bond.
isolated you.
But they've never shown you the love, right?
But they've isolated you
they've told
so
They
much.
have, though. They
Yeah, that's
have,
love bombing.
in
They need to be
calculated
tested.
moments, shown you the love. It's grandiose gestures at the beginning. I'm going to pay for everything. I'm going to send you flowers. I'm going to do this. They're going to compliment you on how wonderful you are and how smart you are, and
It's the cycle
you're
of
too
abuse.
good for them. You're too good for them is a big thing.
It
And
always
they
goes back to the
they don't want to
honeymoon
see you
phase.
to be with me, and we're happy, and they're against us to be happy and have this wonderful life. They don't want to
But-
see
Right.
us
but-
be
Nobody
together.
understands what we're going through.
Right,
And
but at
then
one point you're like, I'm not happy, and what you're telling me is
right,
not.
and then
is
you
not.
go
But you don't
away,
see
and then
that.
you leave, and then
How are
You
you
start
here if you
thinking
didn't do that?
but you don't see that. You start thinking that you're the problem.
no, agreed.
You can't watch TV.
Coming out
Let me
of
tell
that,
We
you.
don't look
though,
like this, babe. This is
coming
not
out
our
of that,
relationship.
you have these standards. You're like, I'm gonna hold them true. I'm gonna do this, and this is what I'm gonna be. And you hold true to your boundaries and then whatever narcissist comes into your life and they find you again, and you're like, and it happens slower because you're looking for it and they know you are, and then all of a sudden it's fucking happened again, and you're like, oh, what the fuck, how did this happen again? I was not gonna let this happen. They're good.
Was the second
And they're
time
very
short?
good.
What
I'm
was it?
telling you,
Was the second manipulation shorter than the first, Elise?
Mm,
I mean, it has to be. We have to be making
For me,
progress here.
they were for me.
kind
here's the
of,
thing,
depending
that
on how good
he
the
was
narcissist is.
he was so
Like,
good.
and just
My
like
ex-husband was so good.
Let's be real.
And
I've
he
I've
had
had a slew of
convinced-
abusive relationships.
but I mean this. But if he was so good and you saw the best manipulator, the second guy couldn't hold a candle to that guy.
Well, no. But here's the thing.
The second
My
one was better.
my ex-husband was so good that he had the court systems, very well, on certain things and stuff.
He was so rich, you mean?
Well, we both, I mean,
I mean, the only way you can make a court do something for you if you have money. That's it.
Both of us did
That's not
on that
true.
end. I mean, it's not true, but on this point,
Manipulate a
on
court,
my
use
side,
money.
it was he was so good at certain lies that after what he did with proof of the abuse he had done to my daughter, he only got 6 months of not being able to see her and 6 months of only going to anger management classes, and that was that he could see her.
That's
The
not
thing
fair.
that did it for him, was
Ridiculous.
my daughter said one day, he said, she called him by his name, and he was like, "No, I'm your dad." And she said, "No, so and so is my dad because he's there with me every night when either I'm sick and he takes me to school and he takes care of my mommy, and that is my dad. You are just a sperm donor."
My dad's name is
This
Lewis.
was when she was
Period.
this was she was 5, right? This was when she was 5.
Imagine
At
the
5
emotion
years
that she had
old,
inside of her. My God.
she stopped talking to him.
Yeah, I heard you were kind of cold, Selena. I heard you you're like, we're done.
And
I don't like you.
she reached out to him when she was we were having this big party for her in Mexico. We have a quinceañera when you're, coming out.
I'm 15.
Turned 15, and he said I was so heartbroken for her because he emailed her back and said, "I have a new family. Please don't contact me again. You're with a wetback, and that's all that matters to me."
Thank you so much for this opportunity to learn who my real father is. Suck a dick.
And it broke her. And I was
My
so
God.
heartbroken.
Oh my God, as a child, dude. Come
We
on.
just want to save our babies from that, right?
Yeah.
mean,
I thought he would have emailed her differently because he hadn't seen her in like 10 years. So I figured it would have been different.
To
My
whom it may
husband was
concern.
one of those, and you know what? Thank God I have such an amazing husband, because my husband's like, you know what? Let's reach out to him. Let's go out to dinner. And like man to man, like, hey, I'm raising your child. I'm here stepping up. Like, I want you to know who I am. My husband's like, I just want him to know who I am, that he knows that I'm not a bad person. I'm a good
But he was like,
person.
I don't care who you are. I don't really want to be here. So see ya.
Well, no, he would never email it. And so when that happened when she was 15, my husband did this huge party for my daughter. And, and I was kind of like, oh, here biting my nails, going, oh my God, what's going to happen if he does show up? But when he emailed that back, my husband said, you know what? It's okay. I'm here for you. I'm here. And you know what?
That's what a good husband does.
That's a rock, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It
so
is.
Now that you've experienced the worst man and the best man, there's obviously now at this point in your life, no way you'd ever get manipulated because you've seen the spectrum, right?
Well, and that's why I did the background check. That is why I did the background check.
No one could pull a wool over your eyes.
I wasn't going down that path
Right?
again.
Right? That's like me now at 45, like, saying, well, I was trafficked a bit. You know what I mean? Like, not when I was a kid, when I was like last year, you know what I mean? Like, so, hopefully you're like,
My
make some
husband was
progress.
He's my guardian angel. He's helped me through a lot of things. He was there through my divorce. He was there through a lot of things. And he saw a lot of things with my ex-husband. That when my ex-husband, unfortunately, he took his life away. I've never met his mom. I was married to him for 9 years. Never met his mom.
He was talking to you on the other line, like, hey, my mom says hi.
No, I didn't even know. To be honest with you, I didn't even know that woman existed.
Your mama not real.
So I see where Teresa comes out and says, I didn't have that heart to tell her what he said about his daughter, because when
I agree on that.
I would have broke her right there. I don't know you. You ain't my friend. This is the truth.
Well, girl, you need to sit down.
You need to know
when
this.
his mom reached out to me and she thought that her son was perfect, I didn't have the
Oh,
heart to tell her
isn't that the
your
best?
son was a douche.
Oh my God.
I would
Wouldn't that
have.
be the best feeling ever? That's
I didn't because you know what?
when they're like this and they're like, dude, he's a fucking piece of shit. You think he's like the best things in sliced bread? You know, he's
Let me show
everything. Da, da,
you.
da. Oh
I
my God.
couldn't.
They're
Oh,
never
you
gonna
revel
I
in
ended
be
up
that.
cutting
You
all.
revel
or
in
they
that.
will.
Cutting all ties. I ended up
Doesn't
cutting
matter
all
what they
ties with
think,
her
they
because
still
I
think
couldn't
their
do it.
sons are angels.
Vengeance. You
I
said it
beg
yourself.
to differ.
You
My
love vengeance.
My first ex-husband, when I left him, his mom sent me a letter saying, "I understand why you left him. He's just like his dad. He's a douche. He's a manipulator. He's a narcissist." And I was like, "That's
But
weird."
that's my
Most
Bobby.
moms don't do that. No, seriously, she was on my side,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
probably still would be to this day. You know what I mean? It was odd.
My ex's
I was
mum
like, "This
was
is
always
weird."
on his
Some
And
side,
that's
but
back in the
gave me a
day when
frying
letters
pan.
were a thing.
Look, I mean, I couldn't. She didn't really know her son, right? So I didn't want to break that to her. She only knew what bits and
bro, you
pieces.
don't want to tell like that. This is how, to me, this is how glass houses are built, and this is how intrigue builds within families. Like nothing, everything, all the curtains can be pulled back, and the truth can kill
For me, she was already
all the
grieving.
vampires. That's not your family to fix or to keep whole. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying?
she's already
This is
grieving.
the
Her
truth.
son had passed,
And your son's a dick. Two things are true. You're
I
grieving,
couldn't
and he
do
was a
that
dick.
to her because you know what? I couldn't do that. I think maybe because I'm a mother of 3
It always
kids.
goes back to being a mother.
I wouldn't
God damn
want
it! You're
to.
also a person.
I didn't want to. Like I always say,
At that point, what does it matter?
yeah. At that point, he's not here
Vengeance.
with us
You
anymore.
love vengeance.
Hold
You said
on.
it.
I was going to say, Rose, I know your first thought is, how do I get revenge? But at that point, but you have compassion.
Suddenly, I don't care about
Yes,
revenge.
because now she's grieving over her lost son that she never had a chance to meet because of whatever she had to do with her past.
Everyone's
You
gonna
know what
die.
I mean?
Everyone's made mistakes, and the sooner you say to yourself, "I'm not here to keep the world together,"
But
and
when
people
it's
need to learn
grieving, it's
truths.
different. When it's
So-
grieving,
Everybody
it's
dies.
different.
If it just happened to some people, I'd be like, "Oh, but everyone dies." You know what I mean?
It's one of the two truths in life. So, Tiffy, let's bring it back to Risa Tisa. Tiffy,
I'll be back.
if you had to give one piece of advice, or if you were Teresa's friend during all of this, what would you have said to her?
Just listen to your gut, honestly. Like, that's the best advice I could give anybody in those situations. If you feel like something is wrong, if you feel like something's too good to be true, it probably is. Like, and at the end of the day, like, there's so many people chasing love, like it's the be all and end all. And
Right.
my advice there is the best relationship you can ever be in is the one that you're in with yourself. So love yourself, date yourself, and anything else that comes, like, be the best version of yourself, and anything that you want and need outside of that will come to you. Like, but if anybody is in a violent situation or a manipulative situation, absolutely reach out. There are services
1000%.
both here in Australia and in America there. So there's so many places to reach out. You don't need to suffer in silence, and there is a better life waiting for you on the other side.
And to reach out to a friend, whatever. Don't feel like you are less than.
Yeah. And if they
just-
try to remove you away from a system that loves you, and you're seeing this happen in real time, it doesn't have to happen. I think a lot of amazing women have already gone through such crap that they can teach you the signs in the future if something is.
I mean, I try to tell my girls all the time, even though it comes on, it sometimes feels moot. I think that my girls have gone through some things that I don't want them to, and that I wish they wouldn't have. And they were past traumas that I've gone through. And honestly, it sucks, but I think sometimes you have to go through your own shit too. And I don't mean to be like that. I want to save my girls from everything. You know what I mean? My sister did say she'd lose her shit. I have tried to help my kids, my girls who are 19 and 24 now.
But if you help them too much, they're never going to be prepared for that guy.
No, and here's the thing. I'm like, you know what? You've made your bed. However, I know what you're going through. So don't feel like you have to stay there. I understand that what you're going through. You know what I mean? But then they're like, whatever, mom, you don't know. I can tell you a whole lot that I know. You know what I mean? But they don't think it's true. You know what I mean? That's the sad part of it. I'm like, I want to impart every trauma, not impart the trauma I've had, but let me teach you what I've learned from my trauma and help you not repeat it. And I feel like
But
sometimes it's
it's almost
destined to repeat
intrinsic. It's
itself.
almost intrinsic in us. Like we almost have to. We seek out trauma and like these relationships that test us. I just swear to God that there's an attraction to that. There has to be. It's been too many thousands of years
Intergenerational
of
trauma.
right. Yeah.
It's
Well, and it
generational.
is,
Like
and then
everything.
honestly, when we get to it, yeah, I mean,
It actually
each
changes your DNA.
generation.
Like you can see
I'm
it
sorry.
within your DNA. Like every time you learn something, do something, go through a life experience, they're called nucleotides within your DNA strands. They slightly rearrange. Like a little bit of a medication, they always are slightly rearranging every single day. Your DNA is doing a little bit of something. The main structure of it is always, the same, and they can always pick up your DNA that way. But within it,
Sure.
there's always changes. So when you go through trauma, it is in your
Altered.
DNA.
You're
Like,
altered. Yeah.
it does get passed
Physically.
on through your DNA.
Yeah.
I
So
feel like
it
we
does
could do
start.
a whole show on all of this.
It's
And maybe
fascinating.
we should.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I can tell you the story of I was interviewed by a podcaster that wanted to know more about my background, and I have I was in a religion for a long time that was not cool for a kid to be in. I've sacrificed many animals, many animals in the name of like what, rocks, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was changed. I was altered because I had done things by the age of 8 that 18-year-olds hadn't done yet. You know what I mean? Like holding something that's dying in your arms when you're a child, and you think that without
Sacrificial
without
lamb.
without
Yeah.
killing this animal and without giving a saint something to eat, which means
Mhm.
squeezing its blood on, it's literally like Jacob's ladder. It's a serpent in the rainbow in my house every day. It smells of blood. There's chicken feathers. There's, you know what I mean? There's like very harsh images, like deep African images. People like speaking African who, you know what I mean? Like everywhere, it's like another world. And then you need to go to school later. And how do you explain that to your kids? Like, yeah, we just had a African party. We killed some goats and some doves, and now our saint is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's impossible to even explain that.
Tom Cruise is a dick.
We're not talking Scientology.
Damn it,
That's
my fault.
husband.
I'm not even
Sorry.
here.
Oh, I hear
Where'd you get
Dave.
Tom Cruise
Hey,
from?
Dave. I think, you know what? This is the beauty about all of us. We have a certain past, right? That we've all walked down. But at the same time, it all kind of brings us back together. We're all human and we all have a story. But at the end, it kind of brings us back together where, you know what? I have something similar that can relate to that. And this is the beauty about Teresa, is that we're able to kind of relate to her. We're able to kind of just say, you know what? I kind of been down that path.
I have one advice. Just like Sam did. Don't look thirsty, men or women. If you look too thirsty,
Truth.
seriously, if you look too fucking thirsty, people are gonna fucking, and they're
Here's
gonna
the
drink
thing,
you
you
up.
may not even
And
be
this is why
looking
he says
thirsty,
that.
and
Look
these
at that. Would you
narcissists
look thirsty on
find
that
you.
Would you look? This is where
Because
you
of
look
winter.
too
He's
thirsty.
not
Guys are
even
fucking winner.
anything. I mean,
If you look too
It is
thirsty,
what it is.
people are always out for the grift.
You'll find this.
As soon as you see, that's the mark. If nobody in the room's the mark, you're the mark. Yeah, you're the
That
guy.
is true.
Or the chick. So
Yeah.
protect yourselves.
Or you'll get this. Or you'll
Right.
get this here on
Or
the side.
or we'll put you in a dungeon, mate.
No, and please, if you're in a type of relationship that's abusive, please seek for help and find somebody
Or
that will
if
be
you
able
just
to.
need somebody to talk to, I think any of us would be open to helping.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Leave me a voicemail.
Yeah.
Drop us a message and we'll try to at least, if we can't help you, we'll try to at least find somebody that'll be able to give you the best resource that we know to be able to help you and guide you into the right direction.
Imagine she
we've
calls
all been
us for
there.
help, and we're like, hey, suck it up. You know what I mean? Like, give it another try. Are you working on the relationship enough? Like, are you
Right.
sucking his dick? Like,
And
Are you
that's
doing everything a woman should do as
Right.
if we're in the 50s? No, that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
and like I said, this is the beauty about all of us. I love you all.
Yes.
That we've all kind of walked, a little bit different lives, but we've all kind of same kind of path, just kind of a little bit of a tweak on it,
Mhm.
And that's the
Mhm.
beauty that we have here. And this is what we're here to share our opinions, our thoughts, and what we've gone through in life. And hopefully everybody out there understands that, hey, you know, these are just our opinions, our thoughts, and what we've gone through, and hopefully you guys like it.
Yeah, it's all a lie. Like
Absolutely.
I don't. This isn't my narrative at all. I just make stuff up every night. That sounds cool. Like
Whatever.
I was born in Bel Air. Like I wanted for nothing. I did equestrian.
And for everybody, this is Legends on the next
Legion.
screen here, or Legions. God, why do I
Legion.
always?
We do probably need to wrap this up soon, but
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
let's
yeah.
do this and then
I'm
kind
getting
of go
called
from
by
there.
my best friends who are in town from Miami.
Yes, we
I
need
just got a
to
text.
let you go paint the town red, and I know Tiffy probably has a full day ahead of her, and we're keeping.
Hey, I want to say something real quick.
Yes.
I know that I probably got a little incentive, and it was on purpose. There's nobody who loves you guys more than I do,
Of
but
course.
I did have to push back in that way, because if not, I wouldn't have gotten the reaction and the real emotion that we all feel. Like, I'm torn up to shreds, and I hide it behind a mask of bad comedy and, like, you know, whatever, and like
Hey.
dick jokes and abortion jokes, and that's how I cope. But never did I deny what you guys went through or
No, we don't.
minimize your pain. I just wanted to see where it came from.
You're part of this show, and in this or this trio here is devil's advocate, and I understand that. So we
We're all
appreciate
like,
your
abuse
This is
bad.
what makes the
Yeah.
best part of us.
thought-provoking questions and make us stand up to our stance. So I love that about.
And sometimes pain is actually a little sexy. Sometimes when
But
I like to get
but
choked
you
a
know
little.
what? This is the best part. The best part is we can agree and we can understand what we've all gone through. And at the end of the day, we're so adults to say, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I get it.
You know
I get
what?
it.
Choke me, mommy.
All right, fine. Damn it. I'll be there in 2
That's
weeks.
my love
So
language.
okay.
My love language is autoerotic asphyxiation.
I like
I'll
a
be
good
out there in
choke.
Vegas in 2 weeks, so I will choke you then.
Yeah, like a tie.
I'm
or
so
an ice
jealous you all are going to be there and we won't be.
You could always
We'll
come
FaceTime.
out.
We'll FaceTime you.
No, I need to make money first.
Hang on, sweetheart. We can't.
No, we can't.
You know, you could
Mr.
just sell
Rose
the
will be
house,
there.
move back here, leave Nunya back there, and just be like, later, dude. Now we're you. You know?
Now remember, Mr.
We
Rose
have a
will be
trailer.
here.
We have a trailer. We have it. No.
We have no.
No,
we
I
I had
just-
something for
Okay,
you
bye.
tonight, Dave. I had something for you tonight. I made this whole Darth Vader sequence,
Yeah.
and it
We'll talk
And,
after the show. Finish the show. Sorry.
Yes.
no, it
Gotta
was Darth
go.
Vader's voice, man. Darth Vader's voice.
So,
bad.
with that said, thank you everyone for joining. And please make sure you make your own opinions on this crazy story. Listen to Legion's and his story. Listen to what he says, and you're going to see why we side on Teresa.
Look at his eyes
Why
move back and
we-
forth. He's
Ugh,
sweating.
He's so shifty.
He ain't saying nothing. It takes him 35 minutes to say one thing. He's a mess. He's a fucking mess.
I mean,
He's
he
a
talks in
life coach.
circles. Also, I mean, thank you all for joining. I mean, join us every week on Roses Are Red. See us every Wednesday on the Married Couple podcast. And when we do, or Who's Coming With Me, find us then. But
Yeah.
who knows when we're going to do that again.
And
I'm just
Tiffany,
joking.
Tiffany.
It'll be
You know
soon.
what? I always want to call you Tiffany because that's what I wanted. I biologically want to name my youngest daughter Tiffany. I wanted to name
Yeah.
her Tiffany. So
Either way,
but we ended up yeah.
Tiffany, Tiff, it's all the same.
Tiff, thank you so much for
Oh,
joining
you're
us
a
and
joy.
bringing this story
Yeah.
to us because this has been awesome. 2 parts of the story was amazing. I know that we've
She brought it
touched
to
on
us.
different
Just like you
Did
topics.
can,
almost
right?
as
And
much content of Risa Tisa at this point.
yeah,
Yeah,
anybody listening can
and
do
you
the
know
same.
what? And like I said, if you ever want to bring another story to us again,
Yeah, let
we'd
us
love
know.
to have you back. This was a
Yeah.
pleasure for all of us. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us and hanging out with us and listening to this 2-part story. It's been a crazy roller coaster on everything. And thank you everyone for, especially Sam and AC and Tiff, for sharing, a little bit about your personal selves. That's amazing that, we like I said, we've all walked through similar past lives and we're able to relate on a lot of things. And,
It's almost like a competition to see who's been scarred the hardest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Who's
oh
been
yeah,
fucked up the
well I
most?
got hit. Well I got tied up. Well I killed an animal. Well look,
Look, I think
That's nothing,
before
pal.
we end, We should just do a shot.
We sure fucking.
Oh, that's nothing, pal. You ever been tied up in a basement for 6 weeks? You know, I once
I'm
caught a
gonna
fish
tie
this
you-
big.
I'm gonna tie you up at the basement in the.
Don't try me. Don't stop
Rose
that.
is tying AC up.
Time,
You
yeah.
heard it here for your first, folks.
Yeah.
I'll be there in 2 weeks. I'm gonna tie him up.
I'm
And
in for
there-
that one. I'm in for
We'll make a red room in Vegas.
AC. Tie his
My
legs
wife-
behind his head.
I can do that already. I don't have, I
I'm
don't have to
kind of
practice.
worried.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? There's Dave. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much. Here is
Shots.
our
Hold on. Yeah.
shot for the evening.
Yeah.
Thank you
That's
so
a big
much.
one.
And
This is a healthy.
That is
healthy
I want
shot
to feel
there.
it. I'm going to drink till I can't feel feelings tonight.
Good night, you fuckers.
Ooh. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you next Friday at 7 p.m. and 8 Central Time.
9 Central Time.
Oh, 9 Central
We're
Time
2
now.
hours ahead of you.
So have I been putting that
Oh.
down wrong on my thing?
I didn't say it.
Oh,
Nice.
just remember when you guys on
Nine.
when you guys on the East Coast are
Now I
You guys
know.
are
it's
awake.
10
not.
o'clock East Coast, 9 Central.
Oh, and
7
we
Pacific.
changed. Forget all of that. Daylight savings ends tomorrow, so it'll be different.
awesome.
Daylight savings ends your time tomorrow. That happened when we were in Vegas.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, our
Crazy.
time difference will change. We'll have to do the math again.
Thank God
Yeah.
my room checkout was super later than it really was because I'd be fucked.
Dude. And
But
for what?
thank
And
you,
for what?
everyone.
To grow a couple trees? Like get up.
Yeah.
What
I
the
mean,
fuck?
The
Fuck farmers.
farmers don't need it anymore.
They don't need
And
anymore. They don't need fucking
yeah.
light for what?
Right.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We will see you next Friday on a new story with Sam and AC
Ooh.
from Midnight Media and the Married Couple Podcast. Love y'all.
Love ya.
Peace.
Bye.